It's the last Saturday in October in South Bend, and it's, what, 70 degrees? Go figure. And Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly also hadn't figured on being 2-5 at this stage either. Irish quarterback Deshaun Kaiser also had a couple of weeks to bounce back after being pulled by Kelly in the latest loss. And Notre Dame's old rival Miami and its new head coach Mark Richt have problems of their own on a 3-game losing streak. He's seen his own quarterback, Brad Kaya, sacked 13 times in the last 3 weeks. As this classic rivalry is back on the Notre Dame campus for the first time in 25 years. And if you're of that generation, you'll never forget the '88 Classic here. 2 unbeaten teams tussling near the tunnel before the game as Notre Dame eventually prevailed on its way to its last national championship. So those indeed were the glory days for both Notre Dame and Miami. Right now in 2016, it's time to resurrect the season. For Miami, a 4-0 start, which led to a top 10 ranking. 3 straight losses after that, and they are out of the rankings. For Notre Dame, it's the ever-growing possibility that they might be shut out of a postseason bowl berth for the first time in the Brian Kelly era. But it's the Canes and the Irish. How good is that? Back together again. We'll have the kickoff coming up. But first to our NBC Sports studio for the U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report.
Hey, Dan. Liam McHugh alongside Dhani Jones and former Notre Dame quarterback Jimmy Clausen. We got a pair of storied programs matching up while attempting to alter their individual seasons. Both were once top 10. Now both are unranked. All right, Jimmy, what is the key big picture matchup in this one?
This game's going to come down to speed versus scheme. Can Coach Richt turn this game into a track meet and utilize Miami's team speed? On the other hand, can Brian Kelly put his team in a position to win by out-scheming Miami? And Dhani, you know, most of the time, scheme wins this battle.
No, absolutely. And I talked to the defensive coordinator, Greg Hudson. He talked about streamlining the defense to put them in a position where they can shorten the game, get those turnovers, and most importantly, get those sacks. And he wants a sack every quarter.
Yeah, he should want some sacks because right now the Irish defense, well, they have just 6 sacks all season long. Meanwhile, Miami, they've given up 13 sacks over the last 3 games. Today, we've got 2 programs looking to get right while squaring off in a rivalry that once captivated college football. Kickoff is coming your way right after this.
This has been the U.S. Bank NBC Sports Report. BC, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
You can't wake up every day and worry about what hasn't been accomplished.
A crushing defeat for Notre Dame as their season now drops to 2-5.
Everybody's out there trying to prove something.
I need leadership, guy. Let's go.
You best believe that with our back against the wall, we're going to come out and we're going to fight you every down.
I think our guys understand what it takes to win, but we got to go out there and we've got to prove it.
So it's not just Notre Dame trying to get back on track, so are the Miami Hurricanes, and it still does have a special feeling and ring to it. The Miami Hurricanes visiting the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The fans restless to say the least. They've watched the Irish lose 3 straight here at home, and in each of their 5 losses, they have seen Notre Dame fail to come through in their final possession. The latest 2 weeks ago against Stanford as a late drive fizzled. So the off week, more to contemplate. Try to improve on a 2-5 season and finish finally successfully down the stretch. And a W would get things going today against Miami. So here come the Irish back home. Brian Kelly has been 2-5 in his 26-year head coaching career. Was his first season at Central Michigan 12 years ago. And the Notre Dame blogs lit up again after Kelly benched Deshaun Kaiser, but then quickly reiterated that Kaiser is his starter and the man to lead the team out of its free fall. So Kaiser looking to regain that confidence that he had all of last season and that has kind of suddenly lost in the last few, as the onus has now been more on the Notre Dame offense. Earlier in the season, it was the defense that had problems, but they have turned things around a bit. As for the Hurricanes, they were riding high after those 3 early wins, but then the heartbreaking loss, the missed extra point to Florida State, a 3-game tailspin and tumbling out of the rankings, but out come the Hurricanes of Miami for the first time at Notre Dame Stadium since 1990. After 15 years at Georgia, Mark Richt has returned to lead the school where he played quarterback. But now that job belongs to the talented 3-year starter Brad Kaya, who continues to climb near the top of Miami's all-time passing lists. This is just the 3rd meeting since the series was halted back in 1990, so it is the first on-campus meeting in 26 years as Brian Kelly has won the last 2 games handily, the latest a 41-3 win at Soldier Field in the Shamrock Series on his way to the BCS title game 4 years ago. Meanwhile, it's a chance for Mark Richt to put his own stamp on the rivalry for the first time as a head coach, and he's standing by with Catherine Tappan.
Coach, you come into this game having suffered 3 straight losses. What do you need to do today to get a win for your team?
Just play hard, play physical, be disciplined, do it for the entire 60 minutes and beyond if need be.
You played quarterback for the University of Miami on this field 34 years ago. Does being back here bring back any memories for you?
I hadn't thought much about it in the last few hours anyway, but earlier in the week, enough people reminded me of it, so I was able to reminisce a little bit.
Coach, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Dan?
All right, Catherine, thank you. Back here with a Heisman Trophy winner from 1984 who had a little glory of his own against the Canes back in the day. But you're a quarterback. You've got that mindset. What do you think the last week or so, 2 weeks, with the off week, how has it been for Deshaun Kaiser after being pulled?
At first, your confidence is rattled. But I think more than anything with Deshaun, he got angry at himself because he wasn't playing the way he is capable of playing. And I think this week he's gotten back to being disciplined, going through his routine. And I think when he gets on the field, he has to trust the guys around him. Just be a distributor of the football. Get it in your playmakers' hands and let them go with it. Just do your job.
In the meantime, a big issue for Miami on offense have been the sacks piling up on Brad Kaya. How do you improve on that?
Well, the number one thing is to run the ball a little bit better and take some pressure off the offensive line and pass protection. But more than that, Kaya needs to get the ball out of his hands. He's very good at his first read when it's there, getting the ball out in rhythm and all that. But when it's not there right away, he has a tendency to pat the ball and slide too far forward in the pocket. He's not the most mobile guy in the world. Get the ball out of your hands, even if it means throwing it out of bounds.
Well, we mentioned it is strange to feel 71 degrees here. I guess it must have something to do with Halloween weekend and the Canes and Irish getting back together again as the crowd gets whipped up as Miami and Notre Dame meet again.
C.J. Sanders and Chris Fink are the deep men for your Fighting Irish.
Michael Badgley getting ready to kick it off for Miami as they won the toss and deferred, so Notre Dame will get its hands on the ball first, and the ever-dangerous C.J. Sanders awaits the Badgley kickoff, and he's got a strong leg out through the back of the end zone, so Deshaun Kaiser and the Irish will start at its own 25 to begin. And here is Kaiser, who was pulled after throwing 2 interceptions in the first 2 series of the second half in the loss against Stanford a couple of weeks ago. But as we mentioned earlier, he is Kelly's guy, and out he comes to try to get something going. It'll be important, Doug, for him to get something going early.
Get a quick start, get the ball out of your hand, maybe some rhythm passing early in the game as far as 3-step drop type of thing, or when you have those run pass options, get it out to a wide receiver.
So with a nifty set, Kaiser said he wanted to have more of a variety, especially on first down plays, and he takes a nice shot underneath here, and it is complete to Equanimous St. Brown. And St. Brown looks like he picks up a first down right at the get-go. Shaq Quarterman, one of the talented freshman linebackers, with the stop. Fighting Irish backs and receivers. The team's second leading receiver, Torrey Hunter, did not have your typical off week. He got married. So the newlywed in the lineup, Colin McGovern up there, back after the concussion, missing last week's game. So Josh Adams on the second and short, brought down by Shaq Quarterman as they were short of the first down on that original first play.
Quarterman in the middle just flows, mirroring Josh Adams the whole way, and just outruns him to the sideline and cuts him off.
Quick tempo here by the Irish on third and short. They pick up the first down, and it's Kaiser who keeps it, brought down by Adrian Colbert. So quick tempo here being utilized by Notre Dame in the get-going.
Boy, that first completion, too, was a quick passing game thing, and they had a bunch into the boundary. A couple new looks for Notre Dame offensively.
And here comes the pressure for Miami, sending 5. Kaiser gets rid of it. It's complete to the newlywed, Torrey Hunter, with his first catch as a married man, Doug.
Colbert's playing a little bit off of Hunter on the outside. It's just a simple slant route with a guy with plenty of cushion. Deshaun Kaiser looks like he has a rhythm going already. Like the ball is out quick in time, on rhythm.
Gain of 7 there, so second down and 3. As Notre Dame has an impressive first drive going and an impressive run for Josh Adams, who the coaches all told us it was a huge week off for Josh Adams. He has been troubled by a hamstring injury that has really been a problem since camp.
Boy, Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey on the left side just opened up a gaping hole. And if Josh Adams is healthy, it's really going to help this run game.
That was a burst for 18 by Adams. Notre Dame keeping it going and keeping it flying. And that's complete inside the 30 to St. Brown. So he's got a couple of early catches, and this is some quick tempo going.
This is faster than we're used to seeing, even when they go up tempo.
A flag thrown.
There is no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Second down.
Because the ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage, linemen are allowed to get up the field and engage and get blocking downfield before the ball is caught. Normally in a normal drop back pass, if a lineman gets across the line of scrimmage and you're throwing the ball down the field, it's ineligible.
So this has been an impressive opening drive for Notre Dame. At the Miami 29.
I think the most encouraging play so far was the run by Josh Adams, though. Nelson and McGlinchey opened up a big hole on the left side. Quick rhythm passing. It's
appears good looking drive. They're going to have this play under review, so that is why there's the stoppage of play just starting in the first quarter here at Notre Dame Stadium.
Well, Notre Dame has been penalized for ineligible receiver downfield because the receiver did catch the ball across the line of scrimmage. Therefore, when the linemen get downfield, it's ineligible, penalty on the play. I really didn't realize that's reviewable.
So they've taken the ball back to the 41-yard line with a penalty. And that's where the Irish will have first down and 15.
There aren't very many penalties that can be reviewed other than the targeting calls.
There's Josh Adams flanking Kaiser. Fakes to him. Ball's a little low, but it's still caught there by St. Brown with another catch.
Another new little wrinkle. They had a little stack the lineman out there, and St. Brown was hiding behind the other receiver. There's a couple new looks and wrinkles in the quick passing game right now.
Yeah, Kaiser thought that the Notre Dame look was just too predictable, and that is a nice deflection there by Corn Elder, the best cover guy for Miami, who proves that he can stir things up at the line of scrimmage.
Elder came off the corner blitzing, got his hands up. Great vision by Kaiser to see it. Great reaction, and even a better play by Elder on defense.
The elder statesman back there for the Miami secondary. And that brings up 3rd and 8. As Notre Dame tries to keep this drive alive for a possible touchdown on its first series. Kaiser with time, throws across the middle. He's got the first down, and it's Hunter again. Close to the 10-yard line. A big 3rd down and 8 pickup of 24 for Torrey Hunter Jr.
Elder came again off the corner late and is going to light up Kaiser right at the last second. He gets rid of the football. Great poise in the pocket and waiting for Hunter to get open.
Ball is right on the 10-yard line.
Timeout.
As a timeout is called by the Irish.
It looked like a three-man rush. Kaiser had to believe he had plenty of time to survey coverage and look around and see what's happening. And all of a sudden, Elder came off the corner. No one saw him in the offensive line. And it could have been a big hit and ball out, but Kaiser stood there calmly and delivered a strike. Coming off the corner again, and there's plenty of, that's the play where he actually batted it down, and then he came back with another corner blitz. And they actually had offensive linemen available to maybe get out there and pick up the blitz, but no one saw it. Elder's done a nice job of timing both of his blitzes coming off that edge. But again, in the pass game, a really nice job by Kaiser to stay calm, cool, and collected in the pocket, keep his vision downfield, and deliver a strike. Waited for Torrey Hunter to actually make a second move to find an open window.
We had a good conversation, a very candid conversation with Kaiser yesterday about being pulled in the Stanford game. And I asked him if he was surprised. He said, I wasn't shocked. I mean, it really was a bad performance coming out in the second half. And then he told us also, he goes, that's the last time I ever want to be alone on the sidelines, standing there helplessly as Zaire replaced him. Another flag comes in as Kaiser keeps it and is run out of bounds at about the 9-yard line by Jamal Carter.
Kaiser really made a late decision on the zone read, pulling it at the last instant.
Again, checking on the flag.
Offside. Defense number 9. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So the Irish moving closer to a score here as that penalty on Chad Thomas, a welcome sight for Mark Ripton, the defense. Thomas missed the game against Virginia Tech. They're still without their other starting defensive end, Demetrius Jackson, on the other side. As now the ball is inside the 5. And here we go up the middle, and it's Torrey Hunter Jr., who had a big series, which leads to the opening score for Notre Dame.
Little razzle-dazzle in the red zone, little zone read look, but it's a shovel pass, and Torrey Hunter reaches out with one hand to grab it. Nice job up front. Excellent poise again in traffic by Kaiser, but also when Torrey Hunter's making this catch, he doesn't know what's coming. He's got his eyes focused on the ball. He could be getting blown up. Great concentration on the ball.
I would say that's a little bit of a variety of play calling that we haven't seen in recent weeks by Notre Dame. Justin Yoon to tack on the extra point, and Notre Dame takes the opening drive. 75 yards for a touchdown. Torrey Hunter figured in predominantly in there with 3 catches for 36 yards and takes it in for the opening score. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups Go for 2. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. And by State Farm, here to help life go right. A look at some of the coaches who all won national championships in this rivalry. Dennis Erickson won a couple for Miami, and that's the excitement we saw on the sidelines for most of the first half against Stanford a couple of weeks ago, Doug, and that was one of the messages that Brian Kelly wanted to pound home. Hey, that first piece of adversity, and you know you're going to see it, guys. I still want that energy to be up on the sidelines.
Exactly. How do they handle adversity when it happens? It's easy to be a front runner when things are going good and having fun. But if something negative happens, you still have to bring that energy level.
So now it's the Canes' first drive, and it'll be up to Brad Kaya, who has been on the run big time the last 3 games. In sacked 13 times the last 3 games, including 8 times in the latest loss against Virginia Tech.
And Virginia Tech had 2 defensive linemen missing in that game. A third got banged up. I mean, he's not the most mobile guy in the world. He's not going to move around and beat you with his legs. He beats you with his arms. He can throw the football. If he is protected and has time to throw it, he's very dangerous.
And very important to get good use out of his two backs, Mark Walton and Joe Yearby. And that'll take the pressure off of Kaya and the passing game when they need it. And he does indeed keep it on the ground to Gus Edwards, who's kind of the forgotten running back. Just his 14th carry of the year. And he loses 3 as Notre Dame's defense continues to improve with confidence, Doug.
Jerron Jones just throwing McDermott out of the way and getting right into the backfield. Penetration, slid with his man. Negative play, tackle for loss, first play of the game.
Jones remarked a couple of weeks ago, we're letting it go. We're not afraid to mess up now on defense. Brian Van Gorder, the previous defensive coordinator, let go after the Duke game. And here's a pitch, and here is Mark Walton, the leading rusher this year. He gets back to the line of scrimmage as Drew Tranquil brought him down. Stacy Coley is the senior wide receiver who continues to move up Miami's all-time receiving list. He's Kaya's favorite target up front. You've got Danny Isadora, who's making his 34th straight start anchoring the offensive line, which again gave up 8 sacks last week. So it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 13. And Walton loses more yardage. And Jones has just been a wrecking crew on this series. A loss of 5 more for the Canes.
Jones in the middle again, and this time Isadora is trying to cut him off from the backside. Here's 94 in the middle. The backside guard is Isadora, 63, and he can't cut him off. Jones just too quick and penetrating.
6'5", 315 pounds, and that big, huge wingspan of some 79 inches, able to corral another loss for the Notre Dame defense. And here's the punt by Justin Vogel. And C.J. Sanders comes up and makes the fair catch just short of the 45-yard line. So a 39-yard punt. Notre Dame defense with a good response here in the opening series. Don't miss a moment of Notre Dame home football games with the NBC Sports app. Watch live anywhere on any device. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. So 9:21, 9:29 left in the opening quarter, and Notre Dame has a 7-0 lead. Things going about as well as they could so far, Doug, for this Irish team, which has had this inability to close out close games. We'll see if this one comes down to that, but Notre Dame looking to increase their lead. The fake pump and more razzle-dazzle as C.J. Sanders comes to the other side, and in the open field he can really break it out. He's finally corralled by Cornelder, but not before a gain of 12 for C.J. Sanders.
Well, we've seen a few wrinkles already, but this coming around on the reverse. Nick Wisher, 82, comes from outside in and just levels a Miami defender, creasing it, getting a lot of change-up type plays from Notre Dame so far today. There's Wisher's block coming from the outside in. Josh Adams out in front with a block. They've got a rhythm going on offense.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. C.J. Sanders has not really been used a lot lately on offense, so they get him involved. Such an electric player, and Notre Dame already down inside Miami territory at the 44. And here's Josh Adams with another pretty good game inside the 40. As we take a look at the Miami defense, as we mentioned, the Canes get one of their starting defensive ends back as Chad Thomas returns, still without Demetrius Jackson on the other side. Shaq Quarterman is in the middle of 3 true freshman linebackers, and we've already talked about senior Cornelder, the best cover man for Miami in the secondary. So on 2nd down and 5, fighting for more yardage. Maybe got 1 or 2 as they mark Josh Adams' forward progress. A season low 8 carries for Adams in the Stanford game. Season low 25 yards. He just has not been quite the same guy he was last year when he had 4 100-yard games. 3rd down and 3. Kaiser to the air again. Picks up another first down as Tyrion Folston comes up. Well, this has been a big factor in this inconsistency on offense as well. How about the 87-yard deficit as far as rushing yards a game, Notre Dame this season versus last?
No doubt about it. Big part of the game that's been missing, putting all the pressure on Kaiser to do it with his legs and throwing the football way too much. So it's a lot of pressure has been on Kaiser's shoulders. If Josh Adams is 100% healthy, he had that week off. It's been a 2-week lapse now. He looks ready to rock. Also, going up against a very athletic Miami defense, the misdirection is very important. That's why they mixed in a reverse right away. Miami's defense is athletic with speed.
And they are reviewing this play. As Folston hauls it in.
He had a little juggle on the catch, but he definitely secured the ball before going out of bounds.
Okay, still not secure. Now secure, yeah.
Right foot on the ground, should be good to go. They ran the same formation they ran first play of the game. Notre Dame came out with 3 receivers into the boundary in a tight area window. The first time they ran it, they got a zone coverage and they got the quick completion to St. Brown. This was a man-to-man coverage, and now he hits the flat route to Folston. So it's the same look, same play, different receiver gets the ball.
Well, they're still talking about this.
I mean, if you're looking at just the catch, I think that's pretty cut and dry. I don't know if there's something else that went on in there. Little juggle the ball, then secures it.
After review, the running on the field stands. First down. The review was initiated by replay. There is no coach's challenge. There is no timeout charge to Miami.
Well, they probably saw the initial bobble, wanted to make sure the right foot was still on the ground when he secured it. Just slowing down a rhythm that Notre Dame looks like they really want to go up tempo.
So the Folston catch stands. Notre Dame with a 1st and 10 at the Miami 32. Second drive of the game. Notre Dame already up 7-0 as they took it right down the field on the Canes. And we've got movement
Offense.
up front.
Number 70, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that is on Hunter Bivin.
Right guard, Bivin. Little left arm start. Yep, absolutely.
It looks like he's already replaced Colin McGovern, and there's a flag in as that one is deflected at the line there by Chad Thomas. So all of a sudden, after that quick tempo first series, this game has kind of come to a standstill.
Foul. Continuous hands to the face. Number 92 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Cortell Jenkins called with a penalty there. Mark Richt in his first year as the head coach of Miami. 15 years at Georgia. As we take another look at this.
Watch his right arm get up in Mustafer's face there, and he left it in the face mask on a play that it had no significance on the play. Didn't need to have it happen. This Miami team gets their share of personal fouls.
And now Kaiser doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. And we'll take a break. Halfway through the opening quarter with Notre Dame on top 7-0 over Miami. All Notre Dame home football games, including today's telecast, are available in ultra-high definition 4K on DirecTV. Notre Dame on the drive again. Just outside of the Miami red zone with 1st and 10. Play action. Kaiser steps up, has plenty of time, lofting it toward Nick Wisher, incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Nick Wisher with just 2 catches on the season. In fact, the Notre Dame tight ends just 7 total for the year. But Kaiser wanted him.
does a great job of stepping up and avoiding the rush and trying to put the ball in a safe spot. If he had a chance to take a look front side, he might have had a nice look on the front side corner route.
That's Dexter Williams, who's in the backfield. Kaiser with a zone read. He's going to keep it. And R.J. McIntosh is going to close ground on Kaiser in a hurry to bring up 3rd and long.
Kaiser's a strong runner now. He's going to fall forward. Those zone read action. He may have wanted to give this ball off. It really wasn't there up inside. McIntosh steps in there. He's strong. McIntosh is very disruptive in the defensive line.
So we're getting a steady dose of 3 different running backs for the Irish. We've seen Folston, Adams, Williams. Folston back in there again on 3rd and 8.
Timeout.
And we've got another timeout. And as we wait for that, we mentioned Mark Richt in his first year. He was the quarterback here at Miami years ago, a backup after spending 15 years at Georgia, where he won 2 SEC championships, had the Bulldogs with a top 10 ranking, finished 7 years. And so Rick spent a lot of time with the Bulldogs, but before that he was the Miami quarterback back in the late 70s, early 80s. In fact, played here at Notre Dame. East Carolina offensive coordinator, was the Florida State offensive coordinator for 7 years before he became the head coach at Georgia. Had great success there, and now is back at his alma mater, and again started off 4-0. The Canes reached 10th in the rankings, and Rick kind of was warning everybody, we didn't really play anybody yet, and they lost that heartbreaker, missed extra point to the school where he used to work, Florida State, and that has kind of sent the Canes into this 3-game tailspin. They're trying to get out of here at Notre Dame Stadium, and now trying to hold Notre Dame on this 3rd down and 8 at the Miami 20. Kaiser pump fakes, goes deep toward the corner of the end zone, and Kevin Stepherson not able to hang on, as Adrian Colbert had the coverage for Miami.
We're outside here against Colbert, and I'll tell you what, good job in coverage overall, but if the ball had been thrown just a little earlier, the receiver Stepherson might have had a better opportunity, and the reason he didn't get it was the pass rush. Kaiser had to avoid some pass rush before putting the ball up down the field. It was step for step. He delivered a nice ball, but it was very good coverage on the play.
So in comes Justin Yoon to attempt a 37-yard field goal and try to make it a 10-0 Notre Dame lead. Snap and hold good, and Yoon's kick is inside the right side. So Notre Dame with a couple of scores, but there is a flag back at the 29-yard line. Notre Dame indicating that it's against Miami.
Running into the kicker, defense number 26. Penalties decline. The field goal is good.
So indeed, with 6:34 remaining in the first quarter, Notre Dame with a 10-0 lead.
I thought Yoon was so athletic, he avoided the hit with a little hop over the top. But he got a piece of him, knocks him to the ground, but not enough for a first down.
So Notre Dame off to a 10-0 lead over the Miami Hurricanes. Right back to a balmy South Bend in a moment. Superstar California Chrome is back at Santa Anita to cap off his undefeated season. Breeders' Cup coverage begins Friday at 5 Eastern Time on NBCSN, leading up to the Classic next Saturday at 8 on NBC. Those are the 4 horsemen over at the Goog who we see every week that we come here to cover a Notre Dame game. I don't think they're quite as fast as California Chrome.
No, those horses are a little lazy. They haven't moved in years.
A little stiff is what you're saying. Yes. So Notre Dame, which got off to a 10-0 lead on Stanford a couple of weeks ago before the Cardinal reeled off 17 unanswered to win coming back. Malcolm Lewis is going to take it out for Miami, grabbing the Yoon kick and spinning his way just across the 20-yard line. Well, Brian Kelly has talked about keeping that energy level up. How about BK getting into the groove on the sideline? That is something we've never seen.
No, and he lost the beat. He's about half count late. There you go. He caught back in. He slowed it down just a touch, but that's good to see.
Maybe he's getting a late birthday dance in. Brian Kelly turning 55 years old on Tuesday. We asked him what he did. He said, nothing special, guys. I worked till 11 o'clock at night on my birthday, went back to my apartment here on the Notre Dame campus alone, and there was a cake in there, and that's somebody left a cake. I don't even think he was sure who left it.
It's the life of a head football coach.
Joe Yearby in the backfield for Miami. Kai with a fake and throws. That one was deflected as it never had a chance. And so that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. So not a great start for the Miami offense. And Kaya.
Again, it's Jerron Jones with the pressure, pushing McDermott back in the lap of the quarterback, getting the paw up. He usually does that on field goals and extra points.
Yeah, he's blocked 6 kicks in his career.
He's having a day.
In fact, Georgia coach Mark Rick said Jerron Jones is probably salivating because we haven't exactly been the best kicking unit. They've had a couple of field goals blocked, crucial PAT as well, and Miami just getting nothing going as Jerron Jones is having himself a game. Another tackle for a loss of 2.
Just throwing people aside and getting after it.
Five plays, negative 10 yards for the Canes.
That's McDermott again. He's beaten one-on-one. They're winning some one-on-one matchups for the first time this year.
3rd and long. Just the situation that they wanted to keep Kaya out of. Again, not a mobile quarterback. He surveys, goes to the far side, and Cole Luke has himself another interception.
Coley in the slot with Luke. Bluffing, he's inside-out technique, and he undercuts the throw, intersecting the point to get the interception. He felt a rounded route and went for the interception point. Now, sometimes when you do that, if it's a good throw on time and gets by you, the guy's catching the ball and running the other way, but great anticipation. He felt the route and undercut it. He had plenty of deep help, so he could take that chance.
Cole Luke is playing some good football down the stretch of his Notre Dame career. Had a pick against Stanford, predominantly playing in that new nickel position as the freshmen in the defensive secondary have kind of taken over the corner positions, and that has put a smile back on the face of Cole Luke. He loves his new role, and the Irish take over, looking for more at the Miami 13. Kaiser passing on 1st down, going for the end zone, and that was almost picked off. He wanted Torrey Hunter Jr. and Adrian Colbert. Thinks he should have had a pick.
Colbert did a great job of baiting the throw. There's a deep corner route and a guy in the short flat. He looks like he's going to take the flat and then drifts back under Torrey Hunter on the corner route, always pulls it down with one hand. He kind of baited Kaiser on the throw. He initially looked like he was going to break on the short route and then drifted back under. Deep.
On 2nd and 10, Josh Adams, who looks like a different player after the off week. Down close to the 6. Another flag is dropped. Back at the 13.
Holding, number 53 offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that is on Sam Mustipher, who has not had a couple of strong games the last 3 games, Doug.
He's your center, trying to drive his feet, keeps the left arm there with the tug on Kendrick Norton, not allowing him to come off. So, yeah, you know, he had good position. He stayed with his block a long time, but at the end reached on the outside. You get that hand on the outside, they're going to call it.
Mustipher snapped it over the head of Malik Zaire in the Stanford game, which led to a safety, and also had some bad snaps in the slop at North Carolina State, which you can understand in those conditions. But 2nd down and 20, Irish trying to get it back just inside the 15 is another catch by Hunter. His 4th catch, that one good for 9, so they get a little bit of it back.
Hunter on the inside, working with the linebacker. He presses the route a little bit into Quarterman, and then he can spin out. The ball was a little behind. Nice catch, nice hands, but the route, he worked to buy himself some space by taking it in a step before pivoting out. Quarterman actually had pretty good coverage on the play.
So Kaiser spreads it out, empty set. 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Goes to the left, and is it complete? Yes! Touchdown, Notre Dame to Equanimeous St. Brown.
St. Brown working on Elder on the outside, one-on-one. This ball's put in a great spot, low and inside. He goes down. The throw actually protects St. Brown, and he goes down and makes a really nice catch on the ball. C.J. Sanders was running underneath wide open like, no, throw me the ball, throw me the ball. Oh, yeah, touchdown.
And they are taking another look at this one.
But this was his first read. This was Kaiser's first read down the field. Had an opportunity, and he puts this sucker in a spot where he can catch it.
Hard to tell from that angle. But here we go with the extra point. Yoon steps in and makes it a 17-0 Notre Dame lead. Equanimous St. Brown picks up his 7th touchdown catch of the year from Deshaun Kaiser, and the Irish are up big early. Back in Notre Dame Stadium, 17-0 with still 4:23 left in the opening quarter as the Irish try to break a 3-game home losing streak. Notre Dame has lost 4 straight at home just twice in school history, 1960 and then the dismal start back in 2007. But it looks like at this point they are fully intent on snapping the 3-game home losing streak, as the Canes will take over again at the 25 as we send you down to Catherine Tappan.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. I'm joined by the head men's basketball coach, Mike Bray, entering his 17th season and leading the team to back-to-back Elite 8 appearances. But you guys open up an exhibition play on Tuesday. Give us an idea of what we can expect from the Irish this season.
Well, we're excited to get started again. You know, we've got great momentum off of back-to-back Elite 8s. Exhibition game next week. I still have some veterans back that have played together and have won together at a high level.
Yeah, you're starting 5, rather, 2 seniors, 3 juniors. How much is that experience going to help this team take it to the next step?
It really is huge, Catherine, to have older guys that have been together, and our older guys have won a lot of big games together.
Coach, I see you on the sidelines all the time here at football games. How important is it for you to support Brian Kelly and his football team?
We're all in this together, all us coaches. I'm so thrilled we got off to a great start. That's like hitting a lot of 3-point shots early in a game, but our players support them, their players support ours. We got each other's back.
We'll look forward to seeing you on the basketball court this season. Good luck to you, Coach. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thanks, Catherine. Take care.
Dan?
Hey, might be able to use that guy. What do you think, Doug?
On the court.
Admiral David Robinson.
Anytime. He can play on my team anytime.
Huge fan of Notre Dame, even though his son, Corey Robinson, has retired from the game, but he's the student body vice president here at Notre Dame. So the high-achieving Robinsons continue. A flag comes in on 2nd and 6.
Ball start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, Nick Linder's not having a good start either, because a couple of those plays where Isadora got beat on the cutoff blocks, Linder probably should have stayed on those blocks a little longer, and now he gets a little flinch, little fake start there, and everybody comes up pointing. And Miami finally got a positive gain on 1st down, and they nullify it with the penalty.
Yeah, they get the 4-yard run from Walton, and then they're back 5, so 2nd down and 11. And that's going to bring up 3rd and long. Again, the situation that Rick wanted to avoid. So everything going Notre Dame's way, just like they had scripted it.
Miami's explosive now. Their skill position guys can fly around. They've got wide receivers with elite speed. They just got to get in some down and distance. They're trying to run the football, and they're even taking losses on run plays.
Illegal substitution. Offense had 12 men in formation. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, there was a Canes scurrying off the field there.
12 men. We can go back to Canada. Played with 12.
You'd be familiar with that.
There we go. But again,
there he is, Marquez Williams. There he is. Too late.
Used to be able to do that in the old days, and then all the substitution rules came into play. You can't deceive the defense with who you're going to have on the field.
So now it is 3rd and 14. A horrific start for Miami's offense. Kaya, not very mobile, lowers his shoulder right into Greer Martini. And that'll bring up 4th down and 8, and another punt for Miami.
Well, it was such a long yardage situation. Notre Dame could go 3-man rush, drop off in coverage. Good coverage down the field. No other option but to tuck it and get what you can.
So Justin Vogel with yet another punt as C.J. Sanders stands back at his own 30-yard line. Vogel with a beautiful punt, driving Sanders back inside the 15. Puts on a move and is wrestled out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. Well, we mentioned Corey Robinson, who just because he got out of football, Catherine, doesn't mean he's a busy man on campus, huh?
Oh, he's very busy, Dan. After suffering 3 diagnosed concussions in the last year, Robinson made a personal decision this past June that he was ending his playing career. And instead, the 21-year-old has a new role. You can see him right there. He's a student assistant. He was also elected student body president in February. And he told me that he loves his new role, but it's very hard because he can't physically get out there anymore to help his teammates. It's much more cerebral. There he is with the vice president of the student body. But, guys, that shouldn't be a concern for Robinson. He's applying for the Rhodes Scholarship in Environmental Ethics. His major is Program and Liberal Studies with a minor in Sustainability. And he is now working on a second minor in Business Economics. Dan?
Thank you, Catherine. And on 1st and 10, Notre Dame churning up more yardage as Tarian Folston gets a decent gain. And right before that play, bad news for Miami. That is Corn Elder, the senior statesman, the cornerback for the Canes, leaving the field. We were talking to the team earlier this week. He actually left the field after practice, or left practice early on Wednesday, so don't know if that's the same situation, but Elder has left the field, and he's the real leader of that Miami secondary. On 2nd down and 5, and finally something good happens for that Miami defense as Michael Pinckney, one of those true freshman linebackers.
He was on a little stunt and came blitzing up through the A-gap here. He comes from the backside, up and through. Nice little run blitz there. He came downhill in a hurry.
Those linebackers had a really good start to the season. In fact, Rick had to kind of put the muzzle on Pinckney. He was saying some things to the press and said, hey, wait a minute. You know, you played 1 or 2 games in your college career. Let's pump the brakes here a little bit. So he hasn't talked to the media since. Tarian Folston with another good gain. So right when Miami makes a good play for a loss, Folston comes back for a big gain. Jamal Carter and Chad Thomas teamed up on Folston, but not before another big gain. Notre Dame 5 for 6 on 3rd downs.
Folston on what we used to call a little turn screen, where he goes and bumps a defensive end, but there was no defensive end to bump, so he just turned around and took the screen.
Quick little flick out to the left to Folston. And he's up across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Jamal Carter with another stop. And that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. A first quarter dominated by Notre Dame as Coach Mark Richt and his offense just didn't have anything going. 17-0 Notre Dame over Miami. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. 6th meeting between Notre Dame and Miami. The Irish holding a 17-7-1 series lead. The Irish have won 8 of 9 at home in the series, and looking like they're going to improve on that. Up 17-0 after the first quarter, a quarter in which they dominated in total yards, 143 to 2 yards for Miami. And the Irish on the march again here with a 2nd and 3 from the 42. Low throw. Folston's able to gather it in and maybe get a yard before Trent Harris chases him out.
In talking to Kaiser during the week, he said, you know, some of those run-pass options, we used to run the ball just if we got the look. I'm going to look for the pass a little bit more out of these.
He picks up the 1st down. Pump fake now for Kaiser. Nothing going left. Tries to get out of trouble. Pressured and incomplete. Intended for Chris Fink. And that was Rayshon Jenkins on the coverage. Well, when you're 2-5 at Notre Dame, sometimes the natives can get a little bit restless, especially in an off week. And Jack Swarbrick, the vice president and director of athletics for Notre Dame, gave Brian Kelly that vote of confidence. How often have we heard it through the years in sports? And Kelly actually said it was disappointing that his AD actually had to get out there and do that. But Swarbrick felt he needed to do it as Kaiser scrambles and slides in. But Swarbrick also commented, Doug, he says, I've got the pulse on this team. He goes to a lot of the practices. We see him. He sees the players. He sees Kelly in action every day. And he says the relationship between Kelly and these players has remained strong. And Brian Kelly will lead Notre Dame out of the tunnel in the first game next year. So just kind of put an end to all that talk, all the noise, as they call it. On 3rd and 4, Kaiser hanging in there. He's going to be short of the first down. It's complete to Miles Boykin, who gets his first catch of the game, but it'll bring up 4th down and a punt for Notre Dame.
They're going to have to punt the ball. Yep. They scored the first 3 possessions, a good rebound from the last couple of weeks offensively. Going back to Brian Kelly's situation, yeah, he was disappointed that it had to be said. We've seen the team a lot, too, this year. I mean, we're at practices, and we see the relationship he has with his players. They haven't stopped fighting. He hasn't stopped coaching. He is no way near lost this team.
So Tyler Newsome with his first punt headed Braxton Berrios' way, calls for a fair catch at about the 10-yard line. Which leads us to our top performances, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. And in 1990, it was 2nd-ranked Miami coming here to South Bend to take on the 6th-ranked Fighting Irish. In the first quarter, Notre Dame got an early offensive boost from a 94-yard kickoff return by Rocket Ismail. Trailing by just 9 in the 4th quarter, the Hurricanes were driving in Notre Dame territory when Leonard Conley's fumble was recovered by the Irish, and Miami would not get the ball back as Notre Dame held on to win 29-20. That's the last time Miami came to Notre Dame. That's a good sign for Miami, but Corn Elder doesn't look like he's ready to play. We'll see if he goes the next time the Canes are on defense as they take over at the 10-yard line. And this is Mark Walton and some positive yardage for Miami.
That was desperately needed. This Miami offense has to string a few first downs together, give their defense some rest, and also gain momentum. They got the edge there. Drew Tranquill comes in off of the edge from the outside, gets pinned, and Walton bounces outside. Nice vision, nice patience.
He does pick up the first down at the 20. So Kai's going to throw on first down, and this one is complete. So a little more rhythm to the Miami offense as Amon Richards makes his first catch of the game, the freshman from Wellington, Florida.
As a freshman, he's a heck of a route runner. Watch him put his foot in the ground, pivot to the outside. Perfect ball placement to the outside shoulder away from the defender.
Mentioned it was Richards' first completion. It was also Kaya's first completion of the game. As Richards is having an outstanding freshman season. And here's Kaya. Is he going to go down once again? Yet another sack on Brad Kaya. There's a lot of blue shirts in there were pressuring him, and that has been the story for Kaya and the Canes offense the last few weeks.
Again, it's Jerron Jones, 94, just pushing his way through. And when Kaya feels pressure, he kind of panics. He steps up into the, I mean, there he had no choice. He had to step up, but he steps up too far. Just a couple steps, one direction or the other, a little slide can help you out.
So Jones with the pressure and Rochelle with the sack. And that brings up second down and long. Not much at all as Niles Morgan, the leading tackler for Notre Dame, met Mark Walton.
You know, Niles Morgan makes a play, but Drew Tranquill from the secondary is in on the tackle right away again. He is flying from the secondary position to get involved in the run game.
And what do the coaches tell us about Drew Tranquill playing the best football of his career by far? 3rd and 11 now for Miami, back in this tough situation. Kaya goes the far sideline, incomplete. That was Braxton Berrios who he wanted, and that was Dante Vaughn. The tall, rangy corner for Notre Dame. Just a freshman on the coverage. And that'll bring up another 4th down for Miami to punt it away again.
Because Kaya really isn't a threat to run with the ball, Notre Dame is getting away with playing. There's so much bumping and banging that goes on when the ball is in the air that they let him play quite a bit. Vaughn did a nice job of staying in great position, but the point I was going to say is they commit to coverage. They're running a few coverages where they're not even paying attention. If the quarterback were able to break out of the pocket, it could be big quarterback runs.
Vogel with another good punt. Sanders hauls it into the 19 and gets some room on the sideline. So a good return by C.J. Sanders as he gets it across the 35, close to the 40, with Notre Dame leading 17-0. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. By Goodyear, hard-working tires that deliver blimp-worthy performance. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Wheels Up, up the way you fly. Thistleberry Farm, located about 10 miles southwest of here. And Doug, with your scrambling ability, I'm sure you could find your way out of that.
Yeah, I just take a straight line through the corner and head in a direction.
Throw a Hail Mary up. Kaiser right back to the air, and he's got Stefferson in the clear. And Stefferson now in a foot race, now dodging some Kane defenders, gets it all the way inside the 10.
Boy, just one-on-one on a slant on the outside. Great stick move on the slant, and he is off and running.
First and goal, and the Irish go right back to work and just over the outstretched arms of Hunter. That was a gain of 53 for Stefferson, the freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. There's a last play, just a little bit too high for Hunter. But second and goal now for Kaiser.
It was Ryan Mays, 27 at the corner, filling in for Elder.
Corn Mays.
It all comes together.
Amazing. Kaiser stepping in, hanging in there, and unable to come up with it is Stefferson at the back of the end zone. Third and goal. Ryan Mays again on the coverage there, filling in for Elder.
On the outside, Stefferson's working what we call the baseline of the end zone. Throw the ball up high where only he could get it. Good spot for the ball. Just missed. Nice coverage on the play that time by Mays.
So now third and goal from the 9. Kaiser rifles it to the back of the end zone, incomplete. We wanted Durham Smythe, and Kaiser and a lot of the fans here wanted a flag. Is this ball catchable even, Doug?
Carter's on cover. He grabs the waist as he goes to cut past him, and you know, you feel that as a quarterback, and all of a sudden he's not open, so you put the ball a little higher, or you put it in a safe spot. If contact is made downfield, it should be a penalty.
So it's a 26-yard field goal attempt for Justin Yoon, who hit a 37-yarder in the first quarter. And Yoon, no problem, makes it 20-0 Notre Dame.
You got to remember you're talking to a quarterback when I'm talking about defensive backs.
10.5 minutes left in the first half. All Irish. There was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called on Miami. Rayshon Jenkins picking up the penalty on the field goal by Yoon. That'll be assessed on the kickoff. So for a moment there, we had a flashback to 1988. Little chippiness going on between the Canes and the Irish, but Miami called for the foul.
In the tunnel, jumping off bleachers, poking people in the eye. I know what went on down there. But yeah, that's the second personal foul already today. They had a handful last week. Creates field position, gives you options on the kickoff.
That is John Cheerson. Cheerson kicking off for Notre Dame with the ball at the midfield stripe. And so it's going to come back out to the 25-yard line. Notre Dame's defense has been impressive, Doug.
Tell you what, they're playing fast, and when you play fast and confident, here's Drew Tranquill coming downhill. He's whipping a block and making a play. You have to win one-on-one matchups. When you're sure about your responsibility and you play fast, you beat blocks. Jerron Jones in the middle. Beat the cutoff block. The center should have helped a little longer. Beats it, makes a play in the backfield. And again, Jones splitting two defenders this time. Throws them to the side and makes a play. It's winning one-on-one matchups.
So Miami trying to get some sustained drive going here. Something positive going into it. And down goes Kaya again. Sacked again, and flying in there was Asmar Bilal. Asmar Bilal with a sack.
Coming from depth. Confused on the blocking scheme, they came down, and that's St. Louis on the right. St. Louis can't make the play.
So Kaya, who was sacked 8 times last week, 13 times in the last 3 weeks, sacked again. 2nd down and 17. And he's got it complete. And that is Joe Yearby spun around. Miles Morgan on the tackle. So a couple of sacks by Notre Dame already turned in. Bilal the latest. Rochelle had a sack earlier, and so just what Kaya could not afford to have happen, Doug, is happening. He's on the run. The offensive line is letting a lot of Irish through.
I think what he has to realize is when there's a pressure package, when more than 3 or 4 guys are rushing, a 5th man comes, it's man-to-man coverage. Pick a guy and throw the ball. Even if it's not open, throw it over his head out of bounds, but get the ball out of your hand.
Jerron Jones has been a force for Notre Dame. 3 tackles for a loss already today. Going into today, he had 2.5 for the season. Kaya stands in there on 3rd and 10, has a man. It's incomplete. He wanted Richards. And that was Julian Love, the freshman corner, on the coverage. 4th and 11, and another punt for the Canes.
Well, because it's long yardage, Love gives a big cushion. These receivers have a lot of speed. Richards sees the ball, but Love at the last second gets his head around, finds the ball, gets a hand on it. Richards was by him. The ball was out there. He might have had a shot to go over the top, but even with the big cushion, these Miami receivers can run.
Yeah, they have talent. I mean, they've got big-time talent on both sides of the ball, but that ball is loose at the 37, and it's going to be going the other way. Miami gets it. So just when everything was going Notre Dame's way, a turnover turns the tide here. And that is Troy Pride Jr., the freshman, coming off the field as the Canes will take over.
C.J. Sanders yelling as loud as he can.
Yep. Did it hit Troy Pride Jr., number 18 there? Yeah, and it's loose. There's 18. Pride, yep, does catch him on the hand. And so Miami needed this. They set up at the Notre Dame 38-yard line with 8:50 left in the opening half. Kaya has time over the middle, and that's complete inside the 15-yard line. Big gain to the freshman Richards, who gets up slowly after a gain of 24.
Great job by Richards, cutting this a little bit flat and coming into the middle, and Kaya throwing the ball in rhythm, on time, puts it in a really nice spot, low and inside to protect his receiver. In rhythm. When things happen in rhythm, Kaya delivers strikes.
Richards a little shaken up, leaves the field. And 1st and 10 for Miami at the Irish 14, trailing 20-0. Kaya doesn't like what he sees, comes up, changes the play. And lofted it up to the corner of the end zone. He wanted Dale Harris. And there was some good action there by the freshman, Pride.
Pride has his hands all over Harris. He does a little double move, a little slant and go, grab with the hand and hold on. He was afraid of getting blown by.
And that's exactly what happened.
Defense number 18. I rule the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st down.
So this has not been a good series for Troy Pride Jr. Made contact with a punt, enabled the Hurricanes to recover here, and then hit with the pass interference call.
Well, it's a confidence thing. You know, something negative happens. How do you respond? You have to bounce back, have a real short memory, forget about it, and move on. Harris ran a really nice slant and go. And sometimes you got to grab a guy and pull him down and take the penalty rather than giving up a touchdown.
Pride, one of those 5 freshmen and the defensive secondary that have been seeing more and more action since the change in leadership. And the new defensive coordinator, Greg Hudson. Mike Elston, the linebacker coach, also figuring significantly in the decision process for this new regime, Doug, for the Notre Dame defense. There is Hudson. He's kind of the guy on the sidelines who provides all the enthusiasm and the chest bumps and shows the guys the videos during the week to get him pumped up. And then Elston is upstairs, and he's more the X's and O's guys up there with the overlooking the field.
I like Hudson. He's the motivational analyst as far as I'm concerned. He gets after it, gets guys pumped on the sideline. Elston, he's the technician up top. He's got the exit. Let me see this computer printout here, Coach. Let me see what we got. Different tendencies here in the red zone when the ball's on the right hash at the 2-yard line in the middle of second quarters.
All the Notre Dame players saying the culture has just changed entirely, but now they're faced with this first and goal from the 2-yard line for Miami, trying to get on the board for the first time, take advantage of the turnover on the punt. And that is a loss for Yearby of maybe 2 yards. Jerry Tillery and company up there to bring him down for the loss.
I think Yearby got a little panic here and cut back too early. He might have had a shot front side, but Notre Dame was selling out to stop the run there. Man-to-man coverage. Everybody else committed to the run. Trying to stop the run and goal line situation.
Ball back at the 4-yard line. Second down and goal. Yearby will try again. Get it down maybe inside the 2 for a gain of 2. Third and goal. So that Irish defense stiffening here with that first and goal from the 2-yard line originally.
Again, a nice double team in the middle and good push that time on Jerron Jones. But Tavon Coney comes through the back door and shuts down the play from the backside, so there's nowhere to cut.
Struggling on third down today, 0 for 5, and for the season as well. Third and goal from the 2-yard line. Kaya. Touchdown Miami. A flag is in as David Njoku hauled in the Kaya throw, but we'll check the flag.
Holding defense number 17. That penalty will be declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So the touchdown is good for the big 6'4", 245-pound sophomore.
This is a pivot and go, spin into the outside. It's the same route that Coley caught a 4th down touchdown against Florida State. I've never seen anyone run those routes. And that's the second time Miami's done it for a touchdown.
That was James Onwalu who had the jersey of Njoku. And this is Badgley with the extra point, and Miami is on the board. They take advantage of the deflection on the punt, taken over in Notre Dame territory, and it is Kaya to the big tight end Njoku, who makes the grab. Big David Njoku, the tight end for Miami, hauling in the touchdown pass, even with Onwalu with a pass interference call, but 20-7, and Notre Dame still keeping that energy up on their sideline. We alluded to that, and here we go with a little trickery here by Miami, trying to catch Notre Dame off guard. Boy, Miami just comes out. Notre Dame was just out of it. Jamal Carter with the recovery for Miami.
Ruling is the ball traveled more than 10 yards, recovered by the kicking team.
Yeah, it was right there. It's 10 yards, and that is it. Carter gets right on it and caught everybody by surprise.
Notre Dame defensively there was way inside the hash mark, so there was nothing outside. Jalen Elliott, 21, had the best opportunity, but he almost backed away from the ball as if it was a punt and never really went after it.
So Miami has the ball right back with 6:50 left in the half. Boy, if they can score here, this can totally change the complexion of this game. Kaya wants a long one downfield, incomplete. Dayal Harris, it was intended for. Another flag is down. And that was Julian Love.
Miami has decided we're going to let our athletes get after it and throw the ball up and make some plays down the field. Double move, went past Julian
There
Love.
is no foul for defensive pass interference.
Wow.
Second down.
Let's take a look at it on the outside. Little hitch and go, little stop and go. Yeah, I mean, there's a hand out there on him at one point, but nothing that took him off his route, and I guess not significant enough to disrupt the route.
Second down and 10 now for the Canes.
I always thought if you touch the guy while the ball was in the air, it's a penalty.
Keep it on the ground. This is Mark Walton with a good gain. First down yardage, and he's inside the 40, down to about the 37-yard line before Tranquil can run him out. And after that onside kick, this was the scene with Jalen Elliott getting an earful from the coaches and Kelly pulling him in saying, what happened over there?
I honestly get the impression Elliott didn't realize on a kickoff that the ball's live, that he was backing away from it.
So first down, Kai steps up, and he was pressured and never had a chance as he got some big-time pressure from the back, which allowed that ball to be kind of duck into the turf. Jerry Tillery providing it.
Again, it's Jones coming up through to pressure him to make him step up, and then from the backside, Tillery gets the hit. But Jerron Jones is having a field day getting pressure into the backfield, forcing the quarterback off his spot. That is close to being out of his hand before the arm moves forward.
So that brings up second down and 10. Jones and Rochelle and Tillery, and that defensive line has just been giving Kaya fits. And this time, nearly a great grab there by Richards, but it's incomplete as Cole Luke was on the coverage. Third down.
Boy, that's one-on-one coverage. That's a ball Kaya can step and throw. It looks like he's working his shoulder a little each throw, like he's a little uncomfortable. This is one-on-one. Stick him in the chest with this ball. I know you've been getting pressure. Set your feet and deliver a strike. I don't know if Kaya's shoulders bother him.
He took some hits here in this game, and he took a huge hit on the very first play against Florida State earlier in the season, and really hasn't been the same ever since. That right shoulder he was flung to the ground on, and now on 3rd and 10, just gets the play off. And he's got more pressure. Tillery's able to miss, and then finishing him off is Niles Morgan.
And this is just a four-man rush, and Tillery gets home around the edge. Once he flushes Kaya, Niles Morgan on the run takes him down, because Kaya is not going to make you miss with his legs. He needs the pass protection. He needs to be able to set his feet and deliver the ball, and the offensive line is just not giving the opportunity to do it.
Loss of 15, third sack of the day for the Irish D. Vogel to C.J. Sanders, and he is out of bounds just at about the 12-yard line, where Notre Dame will begin again with 5.5 left in the half. She has the power to change the world and rewrite history. Don't miss a minute of Monday's #1 new drama, Timeless, Monday, 10, 9 Central, after The Voice on NBC. So after the onside kick, Miami not able to take advantage of it. Notre Dame takes over again, this time back at its own 12-yard line. With 5:33 left, 20-7 Irish. And Kaiser starts off with another pass, and this complete to Fink. Chris Fink with a good gain to start this latest drive of 15.
Little play action fake, draws the linebacker forward, opens up the window. Fink right there sitting in the hole.
Just the 4th catch of the year for Fink. And trying to get some yardage. There's Dexter Williams across the 30-yard line. Shaq Quarterman, one of those freshman linebackers, brings him down.
Very active linebacking core. They are all freshmen, and they cover a lot of ground, but they will make mistakes, and misdirection can give them fits.
And so now on 2nd and 7, Kaiser delivers it to St. Brown, and he's got the first down. Equanimous with another gain of 9.
coming in on the wide receiver screen, but it's 56. Quentin Nelson getting out in front and throwing a really nice block to create the alleyway for St. Brown.
Again, Notre Dame showing tempo here, right back to work. And the give here, no gain. Not past the 39 goes Dexter Williams. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Joe Jackson with a stop for Miami's defense.
There's a nice rhythm to what Notre Dame is doing offensively and getting the ball out quick for these efficient gains on 1st down. Finally, the Miami defense steps up on 1st down and creates a 2nd and long situation.
This was a Kane defense that allowed 546 yards last week against Virginia Tech. Although they do lead the nation with 71 tackles for a loss, but we haven't seen many of those today as Dexter Williams gets the call again. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Notre Dame's done this a few times with 3 receivers into the boundary and had a couple of different packages off it where the ball is out quick, getting it in a running back's hands in space. There are plays where it's an easy 5-yard gain, where you're not having to block guys up front and hold on to the football and drop back and throw.
And again, Kaiser on 3rd and 5 has him spread out. Once, and down Kaiser will go at the 39-yard line. Shaq Quarterman, part of that freshman linebacking corps. The early enrollee in January, recruited by everyone in the country, chose Miami. And there's a good look at that flashing talent that he's got.
Little delay, and then he came, and no one picked him up, so he gets the hit on Kaiser. Kaiser was anticipating having a throw that all of a sudden wasn't there. Held the ball, Quarterman gets home.
And Notre Dame forced to punt. And a good punt by Tyler Newsome. Braxton Berrios catches it out there at about the 20-yard line, where Miami will begin under 3 minutes left, trailing 20-7.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish leading Miami 20-7. That is 2-time breast cancer survivor Paki Kelly, the wife of Brian Kelly, and the Kelly Cares Foundation has been extremely instrumental in the community here in South Bend. Most recently, Paki and Brian Kelly have put together the Comprehensive Breast Cancer Center at St. Joseph's Healthcare System. It opened on Tuesday, October 18th. They are responsible for part of the $6 million investment of the new center. It is 10,000 square feet. It features a non-medical waiting area, private consult rooms, and a private hydro massage that patients can use before and after testing. And since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we wanted to recognize Paki and Brian in their work with the Kelly Cares Foundation. Every year, they are extremely diligent, Dan, in trying to make sure they get awareness out there for breast cancer in the community.
It gets bigger and better every year. Great work by the Kelly Foundation, and a nice way to start this off for Miami, trying to get more on the board with 2.5 minutes left across the 30 with a 1st down, as that was complete to Stacy Coley. And this is Gus Edwards. Gus the Bus, they call him. 6'1", 230-pounder. Stopped by Niles Morgan, but he's stopped for a loss. It'll bring up 2nd down and 11. As we remind you that coming up, it's the State Farm Halftime Report. Liam McHugh is joined in the studio by Tahani Jones and former Irish quarterback Jimmy Clausen. They'll have all the scores and highlights. Another busy day around college football. Break down the first half of this game as well. Kai out of the air on 2nd down and 11, and he's got Chris Herndon, the 4th. Another one of his talented tight ends. You saw Njoku earlier. And that was Chris Herndon, who picks it up for a 5-yard gain. Grew up a huge Georgia Bulldog fan in Norcross, Georgia. Didn't really get any interest from the Georgia Bulldogs when Mark Richt was the coach for Georgia. So kind of interesting that here is Herndon, now a junior, playing for Richt, who once didn't really show much interest in him at all. In fact, he said he had about a 2.5-minute conversation with him, but here he is playing for the former Georgia Bulldog coach for Miami. 3rd down and 5. Kaya loves the time he had there, and he's able to deliver a strike to Njoku. So they've gone to Herndon and Njoku the last couple of plays. The tight ends. That one good for 22.
I'll tell you what, this is a creative route in the slot. Little hesitation. It's a stop and go up the seam to Tranquil, bites on it, and then he slides into the window behind it.
Here come the Canes trying for more here before the break, and Herndon is connected with again.
Miami's doing a good job at changing up pass protections now. The first couple plays of this drive, they did what we call a slide or turn protection, which gives guys angles on their blocks a little better. And they're on a little sprint, so they're changing their launch points a little bit, and there's been no pressure from the defensive line. Good job of mixing the pass protections.
So Miami with one timeout left here, with 1:30 left in the half, trailing 20-7. This could be a very big closing drive to end the first half if Kai is able to keep it going. On 2nd and 5, going for a big one. Coley was running clear there, but the pass was overthrown. Coley, his favorite target. Over 130 career receptions for Miami, 6th in Hurricane history, as he is another one of those Canes heading up the all-time list. There's a flag at the 45-yard line. That is just picked up.
It might have been a holding call. They backed him up.
Yep, they did back him up. They're backed up at the 48-yard line. And so 2nd down and 15. Swings it out to the left to Walton, and Walton has some good room, trying to dive for the first down. Onwualu was over there, along with Tranquil. And he is slow in getting up after a gain of 15.
They're just running the screen out to the left, and Walton sliding out, but 52 McDermott turns back and picks off the pursuit, and Niles Morgan created a lot of room outside the numbers. We used to run our screens and say, let's sprint for the numbers outside and then look for the alleys. If everyone knows the direction the back.
Reset the game clock to 1:11.
Walton slow in getting up as he tried to dive over Tranquil and then got sandwiched along with Onwualu there. He was just short of the first down, so it'll be 3rd and less than a yard for Miami. But Walton, their leading rusher this season.
Again, calling a screen, Pat, it's long yardage situations, and you've got to be creative with your pass protections, because the offensive line of Miami has not been able to handle the front of Notre Dame. So what do? You do some slide protections, a little quick sprint out, and now a screen to slow that rush down and give them different looks, so that Kaya doesn't have to stand there with the ball 7 yards deep behind his center and let people close in on him.
And all of a sudden, Kaya's been sharp. 5 for 5, 59 yards on this drive alone. 3rd and less than a yard. And with Walton out, he goes to Yearby, and Yearby is short. Tavon Coney with some good pressure in there. It's going to bring up 4th down. So 46 seconds left, Doug. 4th down, and here we go, quickly. And the pile, I don't think, got to the first down marker. Miami thinks they got it, of course.
It was really well blocked at the point of attack, and all of a sudden, as he was going up through the hole, it came to a standstill right at the marker.
And they're going to come out and measure. The Notre Dame player is down on his back. I believe that's Tavon Coney.
They do a good job up front. Trembetti is unblocked on the backside. He just got his nose in there, and it came to a complete stop. Ran into the back of one of his offensive linemen to kind of kill his momentum.
And that, oh, is that close? That's as close as
Tranquil's lobbying down there.
No, Notre Dame takes over. They say he's short. And that couldn't have been by more than an inch. If that, it was that close.
It took him that long to make a decision once the stakes are down. Yeah. So he can get a credit card out and see if he can slide it between the ball and the mark.
Ruling on the field, the ball carrier was short of the line of game. That play is under review.
When it's this close, unless it's a significant difference, let's look at the chain itself. Can we review the chain?
We're reviewing the chain going down to make sure that's been done properly.
See, from this angle now, we're behind the ball, so the angle makes it look like the ball's on this side of that chain. If the camera angle were dead even with it, is the angle that would show definitively one way or the other. But, I mean, if you're going to review the mark within an inch, one way or the other, I mean, usually to change a mark, it has to be significant.
It's just all kind of guesswork, isn't it?
It's 1 inch one way or the other of where the ball's marked. There's our first down line, and it's darn close.
It's close. And again, we're looking at it at this angle here. We're not right down the line.
Correct. It just amazed me how much of a dead standstill all of a sudden it looked like he was flying up through the hole. He hit the back of his offensive lineman, and then Trombetti got involved, and it just started going backwards.
And it's a huge call. 38 seconds left. It keeps the Miami drive alive, or Notre Dame takes over and will go into the locker room with a 20-7 lead.
In a half where it appeared Notre Dame had dominated, all of a sudden a couple mistakes on the punt return, hitting a player, becoming a fumble, interference
Pass
calls,
interference,
onside kick. Miami's put themselves in a position, even if it were just a field goal at the end of this drive.
The ruling on the field stands.
So the Irish do indeed take over. So that call goes the Irish way.
Now with 38 seconds left, Notre Dame has a timeout. Yeah, they're just lining up in a victory formation and kneeling down.
How aggressive do you get? Boy, they started off aggressive when this game started, didn't they? And then you were commenting in the commercial break that it's come back a little bit to the more conservative Notre Dame offense.
A couple negative things happen, and you lose that confidence. That's what happened against Stanford.
So despite it being Notre Dame's half, and again a huge first quarter which had them go out 17-0, the Canes are still within striking distance as we send you down to Catherine.
Coach, you guys have been very successful putting pressure on Brad Kaya. How impressed are you with the defense, and in particular the play of Jerron Jones?
Yeah, I think we've played very well up front. We've gotten pressure with our front four. We haven't had to bring a lot of pressure. And then two really big stops. I thought, you know, obviously the two miscues in special teams were huge. And those have been plays that have turned the momentum in the game, but our defense was able to stem the tide with some really big plays and two consecutive stops here against Miami.
Deshaun Kaiser appears to be getting the ball out of his hands a lot quicker. Was that a point of emphasis coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. I mean, he's a talented player, but we really have put some offense in from him to get the ball out, and I think he's done a great job in the first half. If he continues to do this, we should be in good shape in the second half.
Coach, thank you very much. Dan?
All right, Catherine, we'll see what happens. Halftime here at Notre Dame with the Irish leading Miami by 13. Don't forget, the halftime performance of the Notre Dame band can be seen on NBCSports.com. In the meantime, we're going to send you to Liam McHugh in our NBC Sports studio.
You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
And appropriately enough, on this holiday weekend, our first half stats presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Notre Dame doubling up in the total yardage department, but possession pretty even, Doug.
It's why I never pay attention to time of possession. Notre Dame was working very quickly with their offense, running a lot more plays and moving the football. Miami was a little more methodical. Although they tried to hurry up and run that fourth down play, they rushed to do that. Momentum all swung to Miami in the second quarter. A couple of turnovers or situation on the onside kick, a couple special teams play, I should say, and kept themselves in the game and had an opportunity to get a little more at the end of the half, but did not. So for Notre Dame only to be up 27, I think Miami's got to be happy.
We saw a lot of Josh Adams early in the running game for Notre Dame. 4 rushes, 25 yards. They all came in the first quarter. And then they just kind of got away from that. They started finding some success in the passing game. So we'll see what kind of offensive rhythm Notre Dame has in the second half, but it'll be the Canes who have the ball in their hands first as the Notre Dame sideline against re-energized for the second half. And Sherrison again kicking off for Notre Dame. Malcolm Lewis takes it from his own 7 and gets it up close to the 25-yard line for about an 18-yard return. Catherine Tappan, what do you got for us?
Well, Dan, I spoke to Mark Richt at halftime and got his thoughts on his team's play in the first half, and he said, listen, we're only a fraction away from being back in this game. I asked him what the thinking was on the onside kick. He said he saw the Notre Dame guys running away, and he thought they could trickle the kick down the sideline. And I said, how do you fix the pass protection in this game? Notre Dame had 3 sacks in the first half. He told me sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. We've got guys on scholarship, and they've got to do their job here in the second half, Dan.
All right, thank you, Catherine.
That onside kick was a heck of a call. He saw an opportunity, he saw a tendency, and went after it. Great call.
All right, so we'll see if the Notre Dame defense can keep the pressure on Kaya as they begin at their own 24, and they start on the ground to Walton, who hobbled off earlier in the first half, but he gets the first carry here on the first play of the second half.
Well, again, Miami would love, we talked about this in the beginning of the game, would love to establish a running attack to keep the pass rush honest and take the pressure off the offensive line. As long as you're getting positive yards and staying down in distance, Miami's in business.
Walton is the only running back for the Canes with positive yardage today. Picked up 4 there. Kaya spins, and he's out of control again, and down he goes. Jerron Jones with the 4th sack of the game for Notre Dame.
Boy, he's coming right up the middle and splits Linder and Isadora. And Linder's turning him over to Isadora a little too quickly. You've got to stay on that block, and 2, your other man comes in and secures it with you. And Jerron Jones is just getting after. He's having a season in one day.
And that's Jones's 4th tackle for a loss. The 9th total tackle for a loss for the Notre Dame defense. 3rd and 15. Kaya escapes this time, and he gets it out to Walton. And this is going to be a good gain, and Walton is going to pick up the first down. Yes, he does.
Only a 3-man rush and long yardage situation. Kaya does an excellent job this time of sliding and moving around within the pocket and then finding something. That, when you feel it's a 3-man rush, the only thing you can do as a quarterback is try to hang on and let people work to get open.
So it's been all Walton on this opening series. Notre Dame showing pressure. And Niles Morgan jumping up on the line. Tavon Coney also coming in. And they swing it out to the left side. Nice move there at the moment for Stacy Coley to try to get out of Cole Luke's way.
Both linebackers up in gaps, bringing people, and good protection that time, and the ball's out quickly. There's rhythm passing for Miami. That they can do. This is what they're good at. You see Morgan and Coney coming up in the gaps. It's picked up. The ball's out quickly. That's good offense.
On 2nd and 6, they gave it back to Walton, and this time he's dropped for another loss, and that is Coney flashing in, saying, I don't think so.
And it creates a 3rd medium to 3rd and long. You're good down in distance. All you want's a positive yard or 2. Coney beats the block.
Yet another tackle for a loss.
McDermott kind of lost sight of him, and he beat him with quickness.
So the second half right now is looking a lot like the first series for Miami in the opening half. 3rd and 6. And Kaya has the first down. He's got Njoku again, and what an athlete Njoku is. National high jump champion in high school, 6'4", 245. Guy's got 4.45 speed. I mean, he is athletic as they come, Doug.
He's working inside on Onwalu, and here's the pass rush again. The ball's just out, and Kaya took another hit with only a 3-man rush.
And Njoku with a nice gain of 15 as Miami is quickly up into the Irish territory here at the 46. And he goes left side to Njoku again. And Njoku with another good gain down the sideline. Troy Pride Jr., the freshman, runs out Njoku.
Barrios is out there getting a nice cut block in the middle. Little guy in the slot getting after it. Nice cut block. Almost got back up and make the play was Cole Luke. But I'll tell you what, Njoku, for a guy his size, his leaping ability, his athleticism, he's a heck of a weapon.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 3 after another good gain by Njoku. As Miami is showing signs of getting right back in this game to open up the second half. That's a little out of the reach there. That'll bring up 3rd down. It was intended for Ramon Richards. A flag comes in, and Troy Pride Jr., who had that rough sequence in the first half with a punt and then the interference call.
He was in perfect position to cover this route. He had inside technique. Richards goes to run.
Interference, defense, number 18. Penalty is the 1st down, the spot of the foul.
Richards goes to run the in-breaking route. He's in good shape. You don't have to put your hands on the receiver. Instead, he jams him, and he grabs a hold of him on the in-break. They're so used to, I'll tell you what, defensive backs are so used to getting away with the tugs and the pulls and the bumps and the bangs that when it's called, they're surprised.
2nd interference call on Pride, and Notre Dame is now getting backed up. Kaya with a quick release out to Coley. Tries to put on a move on Vaughn. And Miami all of a sudden has its rhythm back.
Boy, Vaughn was playing off, and Coley is explosive. Vaughn did a nice job of staying outside, forcing him back to the inside where his help's coming from, because this could have been a touchdown in a heartbeat with Coley in space.
Kaya started 4 of 11 in this game. Since then, he is 10 for 10. 2nd down in just inches, and it's Yearby who picks up the 1st down and keeps the drive going.
I think he's 10 for 10 because they did a nice job of changing up some protection and give him a few easy throws. And now he's hit a couple, not necessarily downfield throws, but more rhythm, slants, outs, quick stuff, and get the ball out of his hands in the receiver's hands. The 1 3rd down play that he held onto the ball was the biggest play.
As Miami has now penetrated the 16-yard line now for Notre Dame with another fresh set of downs. And Kaya with another one of those quick releases, and it's out of the flat to Amon Richards, the freshman. Another flag flies in.
This might be on Coley in space, trying to throw a block on Pride.
It was a gain of 9
Holding.
for Richards, but
Offense number 3. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
that comes back.
These are dangerous plays. I mean, if they don't get a holding penalty, even if he doesn't throw the block, it's going to be a positive gain. And the Miami athletes at the receiver position, when you get them in space, they're dangerous. And it's a lot easier than hammering the ball up in there against 7 big guys.
So the senior from Pompano Beach takes a break on 1st and 20. And Kaya working from under center. And throws, and that one is batted down by Isaac Rochelle. 2nd down and 20.
Boy, he had a wide open receiver, though. And Njoku was coming underneath. Watch him from right to left. You can see him crossing by himself. But Rochelle was through clean. Pressure on the court. Kaya doesn't even have time to turn and set.
So Jones having a big game. Rochelle having a big game. Rochelle earlier had a sack, his 1st of the year, and he bats that one down to bring up 2nd down and long.
It's the penalties. The penalties kill you. They get you at it down in distance.
Kaya delivers after he got the pressure, and it's Stacy Coley who's got a 1st and goal for Miami.
There's a big-time throw.
Gain of 25 for Coley. That was gunned in there.
Coley puts it right off the ear of Niles Morgan, right past the window, and Coley pulls it in. My attitude on these throws is get it there before the guy can get his head around. When he's got his head turned, when he has his head turned, get that laser there as quickly as you can before that defender get his head around. That was right on the money.
So the Canes bounce back after the penalty. And now, just outside the 1-yard line, they've got the big package in. And they go right up the middle, and it's a touchdown for Mark Walton as Miami takes it down in its opening series of the second half.
That was impressive. Hernan gets a nice block on the touchdown run, but Morgan had a clean shot and fans at the 1-yard line.
There's a flag in the end zone.
Play results in a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 36 on the offense. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
So the touchdown goes for Walton, but another penalty.
Williams stuck his nose in there and threw a nice block, but you get another 15-yard penalty. I mean, that's going to give Notre Dame great field position, an opportunity to return a kickoff and probably get it out over the 35-yard line.
Badgley on to make it a 20-14 deficit now for the Canes, who again were down 20-0, but Miami has scored 14 unanswered. Takes its first drive of the second half right down the field with 8.5 minutes left in the third. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Lincoln Motor Company and the new 2016 Lincoln MKX. By Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. By Scott Trade, now is your moment. And by Gatorade, the proven sports fuel. The sounds of the Undertones, Notre Dame's premier male a cappella group. Under the Golden Dome here on an overcast, warm day, temperature still around 70 degrees here. Final Saturday of October as the old rivalry is back in South Bend. Miami and Notre Dame. The Irish got off to a 20-0 lead in the second quarter, but 14 unanswered points have the Canes within 6 as Badgley kicks it off to C.J. Sanders, who takes it at the 12. And Sanders with a good return up across the 45-yard line before the kicker, Badgley, finally had to run him out. So Notre Dame trying to respond to all these Hurricane points when we return. Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is on NBCSN. The round of 8 is set. The pressure to win builds in Martinsville this weekend. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be joining the NBC broadcast booth for part of the race tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBCSN. There's a look at the current Chase standings. The round of 8 features Joey Logano, who won last week at Talladega. Jimmy Johnson, the 6-time Series Cup champion. Drivers can automatically advance to the championship round with a win in any of the next 3 races. Notre Dame begins its first drive of the second half with excellent field position at its own 47. We'll see what they can do with it as they give it to Josh Adams, who is absent after taking those 4 carries in the first quarter, and he's stopped in his tracks by Trent Harris. Doug, we were talking to the break. You think this is a big moment for Deshaun Kaiser right now?
It really is. It's time for him to take control. They've lost momentum. What happens when adversity hits? It's time for him to distribute the football. Don't get outside yourself. Take your reads, deliver the ball. You're still fine.
We all know what happened a couple of weeks ago in the first 2 series against Stanford. He threw a couple of interceptions and was pulled for Zaire. He stands in here on 2nd and 12 and delivers it. Is it a catch? Yes, to Torrey Hunter Jr. and a gain of 8 right on the edge of the sideline.
He did a great job. He felt that it was only a 3-man rush in a long yardage situation, held on to the ball a long time, kept moving. I really didn't think he had a throw anywhere, and he found this at the last instant.
Wait a minute. Now they're saying it's an incomplete pass.
Well, he drops the ball.
The ball is loose.
He didn't complete the catch. So you create a third and long yardage. Expect the three-man rush again. Kaiser may have to hold on to the ball, move around. Don't force a throw down the field and turn the ball over. If you can hang on to it and find that open receiver, great. If not, punting is okay.
Kaiser buying some time, is able to keep his balance, incomplete, and Notre Dame will have to punt it away. He wanted Hunter, but a flag has come in. No flag.
Again, it was a three-man rush, but this time they had a spy on Kaiser, so he couldn't get too loose. Great job defensively. Miami in a great position now.
A chance to take the lead, and this punt is blocked. Newsom's punt is blocked. It's rolling around at the 40-yard line, and so Miami's going to have pretty good field position. That was 53, Zach McLeod. He's one of those trio of freshman linebackers. 53 who gets in there and gets a piece of it. So it turns out to be only a 23-yard punt by Newsom, and Miami will have better field position than they would have had.
This decade has belonged to the Miami Hurricanes.
Lost one. Touchdown. Over the middle. They're going to get touchdown.
We had the biggest game of the decade for the Fighting Irish.
Going to go for two. Has the time. Lost the ball. The pass is batted down. The final score, Notre Dame 31 and Miami 30. Jubilation reigns here.
And that was back in 1988. Many feel it's the biggest and greatest Notre Dame victory in history as the Irish beat #1 Miami, snapping the Canes' 36-game regular season winning streak on their way to the national title. Are we in store for another classic type finish here as Kaya goes to work, and right down the field he went to Braxton Berrios. And that was Dante Vaughn on the coverage for the Irish.
What a job playing the ball in the air. Berrios runs a good route down the bottom. Vaughn's in good position, does a center field turn. Last instant, turns his head and finds the ball. There was width separation, so you want to throw the ball to the outside, but Vaughn found the ball in the air, which a lot of defensive backs don't get that head around.
Coach has told us that Vaughn hit a bit of a freshman wall. Didn't have a great game against Stanford, but that was a nice tracking of that ball there. As Kaya now goes the little reverse here to Amon Richards. Richards trying to turn the corner, and he hurdles an Irish defender. Showing that athletic ability, Amon Richards.
Boy, Isaac Rochelle stayed home on this, or else it really would have been a home run play. He had to stretch it all the way out wide, and then Richards just shows his athleticism. I marvel at these kids and the things they can do.
Over Julian Love. Look at the height. That is amazing. On a dead run. Still with a 3rd down and 6 here for Miami. Trying to take advantage of the deflected punt, which gave them good field position. Kaya play action going left and incomplete. That was Troy Pride Jr. on the coverage. Malcolm Lewis.
They're marking that a catch.
Is that a catch? They are.
He held on to it.
They? Yeah, they are.
I mean, that was unbelievable coverage. It looked like he deflected it and knocked it away.
It looked like it was incomplete. Look at this.
Reaches in. Perfect.
Catch. That play is under review.
We got shoes flying.
May have had a little help from the ground. They'll look at this, but you can't put that ball in a better spot. I mean, the coverage is excellent. You got shoes flying, reaching for the ball for Pride.
I don't know. It looked like the pigskin hit the ground on the way down. Did he have control? They're going to sort that out. We'll have it for you when we return. Thursday, don't miss the show. Critics give 5 stars. Chicago Med is a hit with real heart and a strong cast. Chicago Med, new this Thursday, 9/8 Central on NBC. Well, they have ruled that the call on the field stands. It is a catch, and it is a 1st down for Miami. You have to have undisputable, without a doubt, video evidence to turn it around. I think the ball hit. I think it was undisputed, but not in the opinion of the officials. So fresh set of downs for Kaya. He goes to work to the air again. Another first down to Stacy Coley. And Coley's down to the 36-yard line. Cole Luke on the coverage, and Miami stays on the move after a gain of 20.
Coley has a chance to get up the field on Luke and behind the linebacker level. The ball's put in the perfect spot. The key to this was pass protection. Kaya was able to see down the field, step into a throw, and turn it loose. So now Miami has figured out ways to protect, whether it's changing up the protection, slide protections, quick passing.
As Miami takes a timeout, look at the way Kaya has turned it around from the horrific start.
Well, in the beginning, it was all about pressure in his face and not being able to get rid of the ball. What turned it around were a few quick passes, getting them out of his hands, getting a couple completions and changing the protection a little. And now, when he did drop back, he had good protection.
And what also turned it around was that punt that hit Troy Pride. Remember that in the second quarter? It was 20-0 when that happened. He also got flagged for an interference call. Miami went on and scored on a 3rd and goal from 2 yards out, made it 20-7, and then they take their opening drive, make it 20-14. So that kind of triggered the whole momentum changing. As we take a look at our quarterback comparison, brought to you by Scott Trade, the Kaya numbers getting better, and the Kaiser numbers kind of staying the same.
Staying the same, and they got at it down the distance in a very important drive for Notre Dame in the last drive, and Miami got off the field, got the ball back in Kaya's hands.
So the Hurricanes gaining confidence with 6 minutes left in the third. Kaya spins around and goes to Chris Herndon, his tight end. He kind of discovered Njoku and Herndon late in the first half, and that's another gain of 12 for Christopher Columbus IV. Yes, that is his middle name, the 4th generation. He says he gets a little bit of a hard time from his teammates when they found out that his middle name was Columbus. And Columbus just discovered another first down, Doug. Canes continuing his drive on the ground to Gus the Bus Edwards. Asmar Bilal with the stop on Edwards.
But will he discover the end zone by the end of the day?
I'm not going there. But how impressive has this turnaround been for Miami? It looked like Notre Dame was going to blow these guys off the field.
The botched punt return where it hits a player, hits Pride, kind of changed momentum a little bit. And now Miami has found a rhythm. They even changed up and ran a little bootleg action with him on that other completion.
Gain of 3 for Edwards, 2nd down and 7. And Kaya will go to the air. He's getting a little better protection in the second half. That ball is incomplete, intended for Richards, the freshman. Julian Love on the coverage for Notre Dame. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Really nice coverage by Love the entire play there, because Kaya was looking one-on-one on that side the whole way. You see him working that shoulder. I mean, he's throwing strikes, but he keeps working that shoulder like something's bothering him.
Earlier you said it was Deshaun Kaiser's turn to step up. I think it's the Irish defense's turn to step up here after an impressive first half for the most part.
This is usually a blitz down when you're talking 3rd and 7.
Notre Dame moving, and we've got some flags. They were showing pressure.
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Tight end position off to the left side. Notre Dame was up in the line of scrimmage, kind of flinching and moving, but did not come across. And a lot of times, the defense will get called for influencing the offensive player to move.
So once again, we'll see if Rick and his offense can survive being backed up again like they were in the previous series. Going to bring up 3rd and long.
Well, now it creates a down and distance where you don't have to blitz, and you can go with a 4-man rush and play coverage, keep it in front of you, and come up and tackle.
Irish bring just 3. They fall back. Kaya going to the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. He wanted Coley. That was Vaughn on the coverage.
Again, another double move, which outside receiver is Coley. Runs a slant and go, little post move, and then to the corner. Vaughn in good position, and he's long. He's got long arms, tall kid, can reach up and make a play on the ball. Look at his head. Finding the ball, getting the hand in there, and Coley almost had a shot, but very good coverage, playing the ball in the air.
So this will be a 43-yard field goal attempt by one of the biggest legs in the college game, Michael Badgley. No problem at all. That would have been good from 60. So Badgley and the Canes pull even closer. 4:41 left in the third. Now they only trail by 3. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. When most would go for 1, Reese's says always go for 2. Little superstition being played here on Halloween weekend, and some of the various costumes in the crowd. What do we got here? Is that the Gerber baby?
I don't know what
I've not seen anyone dressed up like Doug Flutie. Still perusing the crowd here to see if we can
a little too scary
find somebody in a BC 22. All right, so Miami kicking it through the end zone as Badgley, who just kicked the field goal to pull the Canes within 3. Let's take a look at some of these miscues that have paved the way for Miami to get closer, Doug.
Big momentum shift when the punt hits Pride in the leg, turnover there. Special teams again, an onside kick. And these are big plays. I mean, these are all like turnovers for the defense. A third down where you're going to get off the field, you get a interference call, and then again, special teams. The special teams plays are inexcusable. Interference happens, but 3 huge plays by Miami in special teams.
So the Irish trying to respond here, as they've seen the Canes score 17 unanswered, and Equinemius St. Brown with a nice reception here to the 48-yard line, and still dragging the pile close to midfield. St. Brown with a gain of 23 from Kaiser to start that series off.
St. Brown stays with what is an out route versus press coverage. Usually when you have press coverage, it turns into a fade. That's what's anticipated. He turns, catches the ball, a big play to get momentum back in Notre Dame's corner, and St. Brown walks off the field.
St. Brown had his 7th touchdown catch of the season earlier in the first quarter to make it a 17-0 game. And the ball now at the 49-yard line. Kaiser with a quick hitter over to Sanders. He's brought down immediately by Rayshon Jenkins, but he gets a gain of about 5, bring up 2nd down and 5.
I can't emphasize how big the first down for Kaiser in this offense was. Now he's got a rhythm throw, picks up half of it, and it's a 2nd and 5, manageable situations, because Notre Dame needs the momentum and rest the defense.
There's Josh Adams in the backfield behind Kaiser. And Kaiser is going to take it around the edge and pick up the first down. So Kaiser doing what we've seen a lot through his 2 years as quarterback here. He'll keep it, go around the edge, and has that kind of deceiving speed, Doug.
Really, because of the blocking scheme, they had either the pitch or the quarterback keep. He just played it safe, took it himself, and picks up the first down. Again, in crucial situations throughout the year, Notre Dame has turned to Kaiser running the football a little bit more in those situations.
So an impressive drive going down to the Miami 38. Kaiser flings it out to Josh Adams, and good defense there by Miami. Corn Elder, who we saw limp off earlier, leave the field actually in the first half, back out on the turf and making the play.
It's good news for Miami. I mean, I've seen him show up in special teams tackles, interceptions, breakups. He is a hitter, and he's obviously captain of defense.
They challenged him to become a real technique tackler before the season began. And here's Kaiser with another keeper, trying to get around the corner and get out of the grasp of Jamal Carter. And that is a gain of 8 by Kaiser.
Boy, he felt Elder close down on the corner, and at the last instant pulled that ball and beat him around the edge to pick up a positive gain. This is a late reaction. He feels that and closes down and takes off.
3rd down and 2 now.
Looks like Elder's out there playing with one arm right now, though. That is
Tarian Folston trying to pick up the first down. He's short. That's going to bring up 4th down and less than a yard.
Quickly lining up on 4th down.
Again, it is not much needed to move the sticks. Maybe less than a foot. Yeah, inches. Kaiser slings it out to C.J. Sanders, and the Canes hold him and take over. Adrian Colbert never gave Sanders a chance.
Colbert beat the block one-on-one and makes the tackle. Torrey Hunter, all he's got to do is make the block and stay with it if he can, and he's gone. It's 2-on-1. Notre Dame out there on the outside, and Colbert sheds the block and makes a huge play on 4th down.
You like this call, Doug?
It's a reaction. There's a run call or a pass option. Kaiser looks out there. He sees 2-on-1. He has the confidence in his guys to throw the ball out there. Just a better defensive play than block in that occasion. And you've got to have the guts to go after it, because it could have been a touchdown. Very easily, you slip that tackle or get a better block, and you're gone.
Easy to second judge it when it doesn't work out.
Absolutely.
But Miami takes over. Huge play there. Just when it looked like Notre Dame was going to reestablish the momentum, the Canes have it at their own 32. Having scored 17 unanswered, and they begin this drive with Mark Walton, who's driven back. That's a sequence that we saw a lot in the first half. Niles Morgan leading the pressure for the Irish.
Miami's offensive line is having trouble getting off to the second level and getting a hat on those linebackers on the run plays. And the linebackers are just running through, and Niles Morgan, big stop, first down, create 2nd and long. Because the offense got some momentum going there. Notre Dame would love to give the ball back to their defense.
Play action for Kaya, and he's going deep down the sidelines to Stacy Coley. And Coley couldn't get underneath it. Julian Love was step for step with the senior. Freshman on the senior Coley.
These wide receivers are scary for Miami. I mean, their speed, the ball's in the air. Kaya throws the deep ball very well. And this one's overthrown. I would prefer to just underthrow it and let my guy make a play. But every time the ball's in the air downfield, it just feels like the Miami guys are going to make a play.
Well, we could see another ball lofted up by Kaya to these speedy wideouts on 3rd and 10. Minute 10 left in the 3rd quarter as Miami tries to continue this rally on Notre Dame. Here comes pressure off the edge. Kaya gets rid of it, and it's complete for the first down to Dayal Harris. Clutch 3rd down and 10 conversion and a gain of 14.
Just an unbelievable timing throw. There was a zone blitz coming, an unblocked rusher off the edge, which I believe was Drew Tranquil, and a perfect strike off his back foot with a guy in his face, puts the ball on the money in tight coverage. Great throw.
You can see Kaya licking his lips. He's doing it again as if to say, I feel it. We've got it going. We're on the march again. 1st and 10 from their own 47. Take a break from the air and give it to Walton. He's got a decent gain just into Notre Dame territory.
Well, momentum, throwing the ball efficiently. Now they've kind of set up the run by passing the ball well now and pick up positive yards on 1st down, which was not the case early in this game. Miami could not run the ball at all. Every time they tried to run the ball, it was 2nd and 12, 13.
And that's going to be it for the 3rd quarter as Miami's just going to run this out as they head to the 4th quarter with all sorts of momentum.
And Notre Dame's got to be looking in a mirror saying, here we go again. Who's going to step up and make a play?
17 unanswered by the Canes. The end of the 3rd. Notre Dame 20, Miami 17. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your NBC local station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Score by quarter brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. There is a look at the 17 unanswered by the Canes after Notre Dame took a 20-0 lead, and this was just moments ago. The Canes, all sorts of energy, and Notre Dame trying to get it back, Doug. This game has totally flipped. And Daniel Cage, number 75 for Notre Dame, is leaving the field as Miami faced now with a 2nd down and 6 from the Irish 49 as we begin the 4th quarter. Notre Dame trying to break a 3-game home losing streak. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. The Canes trying to get off a 3-game skid, and they begin here up the middle for a good gain from Mark Walton. Close to the first down. It'll be about a 3rd and a long 1.
Well, all of a sudden there's a crease up the middle and a 5-yard gain, and Daniel Cage is out of the middle, which is a good run stopper for Notre Dame. The momentum continues to build on the Miami side.
Guy out of the air, complete, first down. As Stacy Coley hauls it in, Troy Pride, again, they seem to be picking on him, especially up there against Coley, the senior star.
Well, it's one-on-one, and when you're in press coverage, you're worried about the receiver running past you. Coley puts his foot in the ground, runs a hitch route. Great timing by Kaya, and the ball is on the money.
Boy, Kaya has just totally turned it around after the rough start. Coley, by the way, 6 catches, 71 yards. And Kaya goes to Amon Richards, and he puts a move on, getting inside the 25-yard line before he's finally brought down by Coney after a gain of 16.
Just a wide receiver screen, throw it out there. My buddy's going to block for me, get a block. You're one-on-one with the DB, and by him he goes. These athletes for Miami in space. Vaughn can't bring them down one-on-one.
Yeah, Richards really talented as he looks to break Michael Irvin's freshman receiving yardage mark. Walton gets the sweep to the right, maybe gets 1. 2nd down and 8.
Yep. Miami's driving the football. Notre Dame has been taking the approach of keep everything in front of me and tackle, and Kaya has shown the patience to march the ball down the field and be able to execute for long drives.
Kaya gets rid of it, and it's complete to Herndon. He's down to the 20-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and about 6 before he's brought down by Drew Tranquil. Notre Dame has had some spurts this year, Doug, where they have given up a lot of unanswered points. Look at the consecutive points allowed this season. Texas, Michigan State, the big 36 in a row by the Spartans, Duke, Stanford, and today against Miami. On a big 3rd down and 6, and it's tipped away there by Niles Morgan, and that brings up 4th down as he wanted Joe Yearby. Big play by the junior, Niles Morgan.
Yearby did a great job with his motion and deceiving the Notre Dame defense with motion and outflanks the coverage, but Niles Morgan, I believe, was supposed to be rushing the passer, pulled off and got a hand in the passing lane to tip it away.
So that brings out Mr. Badgley again. He was good earlier from 43. This is a 37-yard attempt. Snap and hold are good, and that's all Badgley needs to tie this one up. 20 unanswered points by Miami. Just moments into the final quarter. We got a tie game between Miami and Notre Dame. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Go for 2. By Lexus. See your Lexus dealer. By Verizon. Join a better network because better matters. And by U.S. Bank. That is some serious pumpkin carving going on, Doug Flutie.
That's a lot of effort for a pumpkin, don't you think?
You think he'd have the patience to tackle that?
Never. I'd start it and say, here, you take over.
Well, the orange and green of Miami coming alive here with these 20 unanswered points as Badgley, who just made his 2nd field goal, kicks it C.J. Sanders' way. He's going to come out and get it no further than the 22-yard line. As we take a look at the pulse of the game, the early pulse was all Notre Dame, Doug, as they got it going from on the ground and through the air.
They came out running some unique plays there, a shovel pass for a touchdown, some quick passing game, and were off and running. They also had pressure on Kaya. Kaya got sacked 8 times last week, 4 times today, but he was resilient. Miami comes back, 20 unanswered points. Kaya has been on fire since the 2nd quarter.
So Kaiser sets up at the 22-yard line for Notre Dame. Haven't had a touchdown since the first quarter when they scored 2, part of that 17-0 lead. And Dexter Williams is just hit. That was Adrian Colbert putting a stick on the 5'8" C.J. Sanders. You could hear this one all the way up in the stands. Dexter Williams, excuse me, taking the pop.
Williams is a big boy, too, and Colbert just lays a hit on him. Now just end it there and walk away. Don't go get in the 15-yarder.
That looked like something out of the late 80s between Miami and Notre Dame. And again, Miami showing some good pressure there, but Williams is able to turn it into some positive yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down before Kendrick Norton brings him down. Number 7.
There was actually an alley there, and he kind of overran it, got his foot in the ground, and found the hole late. Williams gets up slowly.
And Colbert is over there on the sidelines after that big stick on Williams in some pain.
They're working on that right arm and shoulder a little bit.
So Williams comes out, and Josh Adams is back out there for the Irish.
It's a good job by Williams, though, gaining positive yards out of that to keep you in a 3rd and manageable situation.
Manageable as in 4 here for the Irish to try to keep this drive alive. Here comes the pressure from the edge. Kaiser steps up, and it's complete to Hunter, and he picks up the 1st down. At the 40-yard line, they come through with 12 on 3rd and 4.
Quarterman blitzes off the edge, but you got an inside slant coming, and there's just a window of opportunity, so Hunter just kind of under control, sits in the hole. Ball was a little high. Nice hands, caught it up in his hand.
And here's Josh Adams. Whistles come in and stop the play.
Prior to the snap, we were buzzed by replay. That play's under review.
So as they take another look at the previous play, we'll take a quick break with a score tied at 20. It's the night you love to hate, and it's on NBCSN. Red Wings and the Flyers as another round of Wednesday night rivalry comes your way, beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern time on NBCSN. This is what they were looking at. It was still a catch, so confirmed the catch in the 1st down reception by Torrey Hunter Jr. Ball came loose at the tail end of it, but he had already been down with possession of the ball. So back to 1st and 10 here at the 40. As Kaiser's now found a rhythm, he's completed his last 6 passes, keeping it on the ground here to Adams, and he gets nowhere. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 as we send you down to Catherine.
Well, Dan, just some updates from the Notre Dame sideline. Junior linebacker Greer Martini suffered a concussion in the 1st quarter. He returned to the sidelines in street clothes. He will not return to this game. Daniel Cage, junior defensive lineman, took a hit to the head. He went to the locker room and is currently being evaluated. Niles Morgan, also the junior linebacker, is having his right shoulder worked on the Notre Dame sideline right now. Dan?
Thank you, Catherine. Kelly telling us earlier in the media that they are the healthiest, they were the healthiest team in America coming off the off week. That ball incomplete, intended for Kevin Stepherson, but a few defensive injuries beginning to pile up. There's a look at Greer Martini, as Catherine mentioned, with the pads off. And we've got a 3rd down and 9 here for Notre Dame and Kaiser. Miami sideline waking up here, recognizing that this is a big play. They come with 4. Kaiser steps in, and the pass is incomplete. St. Brown could not hang on to it, and he gets up slowly. Adrian Colbert was on the coverage, and the Irish will have to punt it away.
Colbert does great coverage on the play. Kaiser was hanging his hat on St. Brown getting open, and it just didn't happen.
So Miami is going to get its hands on the ball again here after stopping the Irish frustration there in the face of Kaiser.
And that whole thing stemmed from getting stuffed on the first down run.
Good punt by Newsom as Braxton Berrios is backed up and comes out with it, and a good return by Braxton Berrios. Spinning across the 35-yard line, so he sets up more good field position for Miami. Chase Claypool made the special teams tackle. Berrios is fired up. 52-yard punt, but a 30-yard return by Berrios. Time for Above the Rest, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. And Doug will focus in on Kaya here, who's brought it back nicely after the early struggles.
After taking some shots early, he stands in there, shows resiliency. Great pass on the third down play on the goal line. And here, standing in the pocket, sees the vision downfield. He had protection in those instances. Here he does not. He's taken a hit, falling off his back foot, anticipating, and puts the ball on the money.
Brought to you by Jersey Mike's Above the Rest as Kaya gets things started here at his own 37-yard line. 9:48 to go. Miami has tied it up with 20 unanswered. And they begin on the ground here to Walton. He's been banged up, but he's come back nicely. Gets it to the 40-yard line for a gain of about 3. Second down and 7. Drew Tranquil with the stop. You mentioned how it's been such a big turnaround for Kaya. Started 4 of 11, 44 yards, interceptions, sacked several times, and then since that, touchdown pass to Njoku, and he's brought the Canes back with over 200 yards passing in that sequence. And he throws it again on second down and 7. Nice play there on Stacy Coley by Julian Love, but not before the chains are moved again for Miami.
Just a speed cut. Your corner's playing off, so just run the cut. It's like throwing versus air. It's pitch and catch. Coley hangs on. I mean, a big hit by Pride. He closed in a hurry. But as a quarterback, you have confidence making this throw. No, your guy's open. You're just giving him the ball. Notre Dame's going to have to close that cushion a little bit and get a little more aggressive as this game goes on now.
Ball right at midfield as the Canes have another first down and 10. And this one is another one of those tackles for a loss on Miami as Jerron Jones, guess who got through there? Such a big factor early in the game and shows up again.
Keeps one arm free, takes on the center, sees the cutback, reaches out with the left arm and just pulls his man to the ground. He's been a force since the beginning of the game, and those are the type of plays that can get you off the field. You create a negative play and create long down and distance for the offense.
Notre Dame defense in double digits in tackles for loss in this game. And that's going to bring up third down and long as Mark Walton just gets it across midfield into Notre Dame territory. So another one of these big third down and long situations for the Canes.
This is one of those distances where you like to go 3-man rush and long yardage and just play coverage, but 9 yards, they can find those windows. So you may have to try to get a 4-man pressure or get some kind of pressure on the quarterback.
Kaya sets up. His man is short of the first down, though, at the 45-yard line as Herndon hauled it in, covered by Morgan. That'll bring up fourth down and a punt.
Well, Notre Dame chose to just go 3-man, drop in coverage, make the ball dump off in front of you, and come up and make the hit. Again, smart play. Kaya took his completion. Maybe you break a tackle and get the first down. If not, you're putting the ball away and make Notre Dame go the length of the field.
It was a 5th catch by Herndon. Kaya's really spread it around to 7 different receivers. This is just a little pooch punt by Vogel trying to pin Notre Dame back in, and he lost the football. It's in the end zone, and Miami's on it for a touchdown. It got away from Sanders. Had the arm up for a fair catch, then tried to get it. Ball came loose, and Rayshon Jenkins jumped on it for the Miami touchdown.
It was Travis Homer, 24, that was in C.J. Saunders' face. creating the turnover. Now he's thinking, I know what the kid's thinking. He's thinking, I don't want this to be down on the 1-yard line. I'll just grab it here and take it down here, give my offense a little bit of space. He's taking a risk, and it backfired.
And with 6:49 left, Miami's got its first lead in the game. And with Badgley's extra point, which is going to make it 27-20. It is 27 unanswered points by Miami. Just a barrage of miscues have contributed to this. The latest, the muff punt here by Sanders, gets into the end zone. Rayshawn Jenkins jumps on it, and Miami now has big-time momentum. Up by 7 over the Irish in the 4th. Well, on November 12th, the Shamrock Series continues. It returns to San Antonio as the Fighting Irish take on the Black Knights of Army at the Aladome. Army and Notre Dame coming your way Saturday, November 12th on NBC. Notre Dame just trying to get back on the winning track, having a very difficult time closing out games. It was Michael Jackson, not Rayshawn Jenkins, who jumped on the loose ball in the end zone for the latest Miami touchdown. And so now it is 27-20. Badgley kicks off again, and this is Chris Fink back there to down it, to come back out to the 25-yard line. And this is not unfamiliar territory for Notre Dame, Doug. Remember the Michigan State game, and remember this punt that just grazed Miles Boykin there. Notre Dame had the lead at the time, and then after that, Michigan State came roaring back, and so we point to the Troy Pride muff punt earlier, which grazed him, and then all the momentum going back on Miami's side. The latest muff punt there by C.J. Sanders, and it was Michael Jackson who jumped on it for the touchdown. So a little reminiscent of what happened to Brian Kelly and the Irish last month here against Michigan State under the lights. So now down by 7, trailing for the first time. Kaiser goes to work on first down, and he's got his man at the 50. Complete to Kevin Stefferson. Good way to start with a gain of 25 as we go back down to Catherine.
Well, Dan, Brian Kelly stopped C.J. Sanders before he could even get to the sideline just now. He said, be decisive. You are supposed to be the most decisive player on punt return unit. That is the opposite of decisive, and that's the second time today. Dan?
C.J. Sanders, the muff punt, resulting in the Miami taking the lead. And that was tipped by Trent Harris, as Stefferson was out there in the flat.
It was a big first play to this drive, hitting Stefferson down the sideline to get the drive started. There, it's just the tip ball on those wide receiver screens. Also, going back to the punt play, it was actually Josh Johnson who made the play to force the ball to get loose, creating the touchdown for Miami.
Kaiser feeling the pressure, gets rid of it to St. Brown, and he is hit short of the first down. Another big hit by 25, Colbert. What a physical player Colbert has been.
Notre Dame getting back to a couple plays they ran earlier in the game out of this stack look, which is like a guaranteed 5 to 8 yard completion. Positive gain. I know it's a big hit. Just wrap up the ball, protect yourself. Nice hit by Colbert.
Third and short, 3rd and 2, and it's Josh Adams who gets loose at the line of scrimmage, and now has nothing but green grass ahead of him. Touchdown, Notre Dame. .42 yards for Josh Adams.
At the point of attack, he just squeezes through, breaking a tackle. Wisher gets a block for him downfield, and it's all over. Josh Adams smells the goal line and takes off. Big response from the Notre Dame offense. How do you handle adversity?
So now Notre Dame trying to tie it up at 27 all. Snatching back the momentum that was all Miami's way. And with less than 6 minutes to go, Notre Dame finds itself in another one of those games that could go either way. They've lost all 5 when they've had it on the final possession. Josh Adams with a nice burst for the first touchdown by the Irish in a long time in this one, since the first quarter. More energy on the Notre Dame sideline as Josh Adams has tied it up. Adams coming off a season low in carries and yards against Stanford a couple of weeks ago. Now is the leading rusher for Notre Dame on this night. 7 carries is all, but 66 yards in that big 44-yard burst to tie it up. And taking it at the goal line is Malcolm Lewis for Miami. And he gets short of the 20, where Kaya and company will begin again. Sunday Night Football is coming your way again. Couple of rookie quarterbacks. Carson Wentz for the Eagles, Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. Dan Patrick, Mike Tirico host Football Night in America, 7 Eastern time only on NBC. So good breath of fresh air there for the Irish. We talked about it earlier in the game, Doug. Josh Adams hampered by a hamstring as far back as camp before the season began. It really has kind of plagued him, and in the off week last week really kind of rested him at a needed time.
Boy, I tell you, Kaiser had a sigh of relief when he hands the ball off, and somebody else finally made the big play in a situation that needed it.
And on first down, Kaya's got time, goes right to the air, incomplete.
Now it's Kaya's turn to respond. Blanketed coverage down the middle of the field. I'll tell you, this is asking for a turnover to try to complete this one. Walling off to the receiver in the middle of the field. There was nowhere for that ball to go. But Kaya's got a good rhythm going this whole second half. Now it's time for him to step up again and respond.
As it looks like we're coming down again to another maybe final possession for Notre Dame. We've said it ad nauseum. All 5 losses by 8 points or less. They've had a final possession in each and every one of them with a chance to win. We'll see how this unfolds. And Notre Dame once again with a tackle for a loss, and it's Jerron Jones again in the backfield of Miami.
Right over the nose, taking Linder, the center, into the backfield, drives him to the backfield, makes the tackle. He's been a stud all night. He's controlled the line of scrimmage. Another tackle for loss.
Loss of 4 there, 3rd and 14.
And it puts you in a situation defensively where you can be conservative and keep it in front of you.
Coming up on the 5-minute mark left. Kaya's got all day. Throwing it down the sidelines. He threw it up for grabs. Says there was 3 Notre Dame defenders there among Amon Richards, the intended receiver. You can see Kaya kind of working out that right shoulder again.
It obviously doesn't come out of Kaya's hand the way he wants. He's holding on to the ball. 3-man rush, 8 guys in coverage, looking for someone to throw it to. Richards does a great job of not allowing the interception. May have been an offensive pass interference, but no call. But does a good job for his quarterback, not allowing the ball to be picked.
And an excellent chance for Notre Dame to snag some good field position here with under 5 minutes left. So it's not C.J. Sanders back there returning the punt. It's Chris Fink, a former walk-on, taking advantage of this opportunity and getting it down to the Miami 40. So they took Sanders out after the last muff punt, and it's Chris Fink, a former walk-on who earned a scholarship with a nice return of 23.
Make the first man miss, hit a crease, and he's off and running. Fink with a great return, and he's put back there for security. Catch the ball, secure the ball, give it to my offense, and instead he doesn't just catch the ball, he makes a big play.
Big moment there for Fink. Played at the same high school that Malik Zaire did, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Zaire has been talking him up for years, talking up the coaching staff and how good he was, and he did earn a scholarship, and a big 23-yard punt return for Fink has put Kaiser and the Irish at the Miami 40 with 4:43 left in a tie game. Kaiser's just going to run this up the middle and maybe get 2 or 3, bring up 2nd down and 7. Gerald Willis on the stop.
I love the call. You're on the edge of field goal range. Quarterback draws have a tendency to pop for 10-yard gains that would automatically get you into field goal range. Nice job defensively, though, on the defensive line of holding your ground. The twist is what kills quarterback draws, and Miami happened to have a twist on.
Pitch to Adams, who just had the touchdown run. Adams for first down yardage inside the 30. Another gain of 11 for Josh Adams.
Boy, Joe Jackson gets put on an island running the option. Little freeze option. freeze option on an island, pitch the ball. A couple of unique plays coming at you.
And now they're beginning to get into Yoon's field goal range, and even better now that Adams moves the pile inside the 15 for another first down. So in the end here, Doug, it's coming down to the up front push, and Josh Adams just churning up more yardage for 14.
We've said this the last part of the season, that so much is getting laid on Kaiser's shoulders. Someone else has to step up. The O-line and the running game, Josh Adams is taking over.
Kaiser fakes it to him, turns the edge, gets another good gain, and he's inside the 10-yard line. 3:30 and rolling. It was Chad Thomas in his first game back after missing the Virginia Tech game who brought him down.
Notre Dame loves to involve Kaiser in the run game in crucial situations, in red zone situations. If they could run the ball in, that would be their preference.
That was a tired Josh Adams on the sideline, so he takes a blow, and Folston is behind Kaiser on 2nd and 5.
Let's go.
And they give it to Tarian. Not much. That'll bring up 3rd down. And there's Justin Yoon warming up on the sidelines. His 40-yard field goal on the rain against North Carolina State was a season-long.
You want a conservative call that gives you an opportunity. You don't want to risk turning the ball over. You need the field goal, but you'd like to take a shot at converting and scoring the touchdown.
Yeah, how aggressive do you get here?
I'd say a quick rhythm pass.
Kaiser.
They're letting the clock run, and we'll call a timeout probably.
All right, so that stops the clock at 2:11 left. So, not the classic rivalry of the late 80s when so much was at stake, Doug, when Notre Dame was #1 or Miami was #1 and Notre Dame beat them as the 4th-ranked team in the country. But it's another one that goes right down to the wire here between Miami and Notre Dame.
It's still fun football.
It still is fun.
It's Notre Dame taking the big lead. Miami 27 unanswered points. And then you get up off the mat as Notre Dame and tie it up. There's so many momentum swings. And now you come down to a 3rd and 3 situation. You've been running the ball well.
So not as much at stake, obviously, but Notre Dame needs to win 4 of its last 5 games to be bowl eligible. And so they drop this one. They've got to run the table, or they're going to be without a bowl berth for the first time in the Brian Kelly era. And then you've got Mark Richt, who's lost 3 in a row. He spent 15 years at Georgia. Never in his playing career, his assistant coaching career, and his head coaching career at Georgia, he only had 1 4-game losing streak. That was it. And so this is uncharted territory for a guy like Richt, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and Kelly and his team trying to figure out a way to finally win a close game. 3rd and 3.
I still say it's a quarterback run with Kaiser.
Kaiser dumps it over the middle to Durham Smythe, and he drops the ball. Fumbles it at the goal line, and Miami has it. Do you believe that? It appeared Miami was on top of it. It was on a lower leg of somebody, so it could have squirted out from there, but it sure looked like Miami had it.
And it is first down yardage if it were to be Notre Dame's ball.
Correct.
Which is the crime of fumbling in that situation, is you had the first down.
No indication yet from the officials.
Notre Dame ball.
And they're saying it's Notre Dame's football. Durham Smythe got a little greedy here. He went to the goal line. And there's where
it was not cleanly recovered. It's behind his leg.
It's behind him. And so that ball was loose. Was that Kaiser who finally got it?
It would not surprise me if he got in there and got it. I complain about this all the time. You protect the ball for 99 yards, and you reach out with the ball down by the 1 yard line.
So now Notre Dame with a 1st and goal, and Miami comes across. That's Kendrick Norton.
Even in the first look, I would have liked to have taken a look at how close to the goal line he was before the ball came out. Was there a possibility he got in?
First down.
He is short. I mean, he's probably a foot short of the goal line when that ball came out.
So the penalty moves it to the 1 yard line.
The clock will start on the snap by rules.
Miami has 2 timeouts. Do you just hammer the football and try to score right away, or do you milk the clock a little bit? You get the ball in the end zone. There's your answer.
Spoken like a guy who's done this a few times. This is your time, Doug. You love this stuff.
If Miami only had 1 timeout, I would.
Clock will start on the ready for play.
I would almost waste the play and then try to score. And if you kick the field goal, it's under a minute to go. But now with 2 timeouts, there'll still be a minute on the clock, even if you go to 3rd down.
Now Kaiser looks to the sideline again.
Check that. The clock's running now,
Yep.
so it would probably be 45 seconds. Good job of milking the clock in this situation.
Oh, there we go. Movement on the left side by Notre Dame.
Not only do you get the 5-yard penalty back to the 6, you stop the clock where you could have wasted another 10 to 14 seconds. I don't know what was left on the play clock.
Is that on McGlinchey, the left tackle?
Ball start.
Yep.
Offense. 5-yard penalty by rule. The clock will now start on the snap.
So that changes things a bit. Now we've still got 1st and goal. Plenty of opportunities to get the ball in the end zone. And it's brought field goal attempt much more into play.
So now you definitely run the ball 3 times, get it under a minute, and kick the field goal or happen to get in the end zone.
So they give it to Adams. Very short game. 2nd and goal. Chad Thomas on the stop. By the way, Kaiser was credited with that fumble recovery that Durham Smythe let loose. I mean, those are the kinds of things that you haven't seen go Notre Dame's way this season as Miami takes a timeout. And it's exactly what Brian Kelly has been talking about, how back in the 2012 season, he actually showed his team some examples, little examples of little things that they did in 2012 that were the difference. They won 5 close games, he told his team. He showed them examples of things that don't happen right with this year's team, maybe a split here or a little thing here that's going to prove the difference. Just the difference between winning 5 games that were close in 2012 and losing all 5 games this year within 8 points.
The margin of error is the split of a wide receiver on a route, the ball bouncing in the dirt incomplete and having to give it over to the other team, or a procedure call in the wrong situation. Who knows? This could lead to a field goal. Miami turns around and goes down to win it or tie it.
Yep.
When it potentially could have been an easy touchdown. So there's all these little minute factors. I remember the undefeated season, Pittsburgh missed a chip shot field goal that would have iced the game. You know, they had a few breaks go their way. There they got a break go their way on the fumble. See if they can take advantage.
So the ball at the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal. Josh Adams still in there. And they give it to him again, and he's down close to the 2-yard line, 3rd and goal.
See, this is the mode that I was kind of talking about on the 1-yard line of milking the clock as much as possible before kicking a field goal and giving it back.
And Miami takes its final timeout.
So you're going to take another 43 to 45 seconds off the clock and then kick a field goal. 50 seconds total. Should leave about 30 seconds on the clock for Miami to respond to a potential field goal. Assuming it goes through. We've seen quite a few balls hit uprights this year.
Yes, we have.
And you don't have to talk about Miami. Talk about the FSU game, the Florida State game, where they missed the extra point or get it blocked.
And that kind of started this 3-game spiral for Miami as you look at Justin Yoon, who's nervously pacing the sidelines. And they've had a history, Miami has, as you look at their first-year coach, Mark Richt, in recent years of starting off great, losing the Florida State game. That was a gut-wrenching loss, as that extra point was blocked, which could have sent the game into overtime. But since then, it's all gone downhill for Richt and the Canes.
Now, if you've had good things happen for you throughout the year, this is not a nervous situation for Notre Dame. They take their time, they line up, they kick a short field goal, done. But things have not gone their way down the wire. So that's why there's so much discussion, so much talk about this situation. And they're going to analyze it, and Justin Yoon's going to sit there and think about it as long as possible, or they're giving him a lot of time to think about it. You'd still love to see, from a Notre Dame standpoint, not have to line up and kick the field goal. Somebody busts through, scores the touchdown.
Yeah,
from there,
Yoon
from
might take a deep sigh of relief.
From Miami's standpoint, they're still thinking, strip the ball, stand guys up. If he's near the sideline, get him out of bounds.
Third and goal, and as you said, nothing crazy here. Don't turn the ball over. Give it to Adams. Spins his way close. The ball was his arm. I know.
Do not be reaching out with the football, son.
I could tell your reaction.
Go talk to Durham Smythe about a few plays ago.
When Adams took a spin with that ball like a loaf of bread high up in the air.
Just spins off, and all of a sudden, instincts take over where he wants to reach. Now, Miami's got to be eyeing the clock. It'll go down to 32 seconds. Then you're dealing with field goal and kickoff. And so you're under 30 seconds when you get the ball back.
Will be a mere chip shot for Justin Yoon. Numbers on the season. The long coming in that 40-yard field goal that he made in the hurricane conditions at North Carolina State. That might be the best field goal he's ever made in his career, considering the conditions. So they take the delay.
I don't understand that. 5 yards can make a big difference on a ball that's headed towards the upright. If you're sometimes when it's on a hash mark, the angle may be a little tricky, so you do that, but this is towards the middle of the field. The other aspect of that is Notre Dame has timeouts. Let the play clock go all the way down to 0 and call timeout at the end of it. Unless they want it back 5 yards.
This might be the most comfortable position for Yoon. I don't know if there's a lot of, it's again, just speculating, there's a lot of practice kicks from that close in, and he feels more comfortable with this 23-yard field goal attempt, which could potentially win the game for Notre Dame.
McIntosh is the guy on defense that has 2 block kicks.
It's a good hold, and Yoon's got it. Is this the game that Notre Dame finally breaks through on its final possession to win it instead of watch it slip away? Justin Yoon with a 23-yard field goal after they backed him up a little bit.
Special teams have been the Achilles heel all day. Notre Dame still has to kick off and cover that kick. The athletes on the side of the field for Miami, they would need to get to the Notre Dame, I would guess, 45-yard line to line up and have a shot at 60-something yarder, because this kid's got a leg. I've seen him hit 51-yarders that are 3/4 of the way up the net.
He hit a career-long 57-yarder last year. Badgley did. Got one of the biggest legs in college football, as we mentioned earlier. Has 2 field goals made previously of 43 and 38. So we'll see if Miami can get position to at least tie it up.
Kickoff return is usually the scariest play of all from a defensive standpoint. This is where a good athlete in space can hit a crease.
Again, early in the second quarter, Notre Dame led it 20-0. Then Miami comes back and scores 27 straight points. to take a 27-20 lead midway through the fourth. That lead lasted about 56 seconds before Josh Adams went 42 yards for the touchdown. And then with 30 seconds left, Justin Yoon, who's kicking off, gives Notre Dame the lead back 30-27. And that is Lewis, who will take a knee, and Miami will take its chances from the 25. 75 yards away with no timeouts. A field goal kicker that can hit it from a long way, but it's asking a lot, Doug.
30 yards, and they will line up and attempt one. If they can get out to the 45 and create, I'd say he'll attempt something from 63 and in. He would attempt it if it was no desperation.
He's had kicks this year that have been good for 60-plus.
So that's only 30 yards away in 30 seconds to have an opportunity.
Let's see if Kaya and the Miami offense can get him in position. And there is a nice gain by Malcolm Lewis. Stops the clock, just 6 seconds off of it, and a gain of 14.
14 yards in 6 seconds. You play soft coverage, and those little out routes that are just 5 to 10 yards, they happen in 4 to 6 seconds.
Kaya steps up, and that pass is complete to Walton. He gets out of bounds. Another decent gain, so Miami doing what they needed to do.
They're about 10 yards away from having an opportunity to at least line up and try something.
Just 18 seconds left. No timeouts for Miami. Kaya going for a little more this time, incomplete. No big deal, right? Stops the clock.
No big deal.
13 seconds left.
The thing that ends the game for Miami is a quarterback sack or a tackle behind the first down marker in the field of play. You get across the first down and completion, you have time to go up because the clock stops, spike the ball, and then line up. So the whole field is still in play. It's not just the boundary.
They've got to get Badgley some more yardage here, and they've only got 13 seconds to do it. Kaya goes near side. We've got whistles, which stop the play. We got a timeout called by Notre Dame. And so 9 seconds left.
Notre Dame was playing off coverage there, so it was similar to the
snap. Timeout. Notre Dame.
So they put more time back up to 13
seconds
to reset it because Notre Dame calls a timeout before the play happened. And there is Michael Badgley. Again, he was the guy that had the extra point blocked against Florida State in the big game against the Seminoles. He's had a couple of blocked field goals this year, including that block point after that cost him a chance against Florida State.
My theory on that is sometimes he really tries to drive the ball, and it may not get up in a hurry. And guys have an opportunity with just some penetration to maybe get a hand up and get a hand on a couple of those kicks. But boy, the ball comes off his foot.
So he's 7 for 10 on the year in field goals, Doug. 2 of the 3 he's missed have been blocked. But he's got a big leg, but he needs more yardage here on 3rd down and 2 for Miami.
At least 10 yards.
Yep. Get it around that 40-yard line, and he's got a chance. And now down goes Kaya at the worst time possible. And the clock rolling, it's going to run out, and Notre Dame is going to escape here with a sack on Kaya. That 3-game home losing streak is history, and the Irish do indeed finally figure out a way to win a close one at the end.
Well, it was pressure by the front all day long that gave Miami fits offensively. It was a sack that finally sealed the deal for Notre Dame. In that situation, as a quarterback, you've got to try to get it out of your hand if at all possible. But again, he's trying to make a play down the field. Pressure got to him. The clock is running, and nothing Miami could do.
So in the end, we saw so many plays like that in the first half. In the end, it's another sack. This one by Niles Morgan on Kaya, which ends the game. And Deshaun Kaiser and the Irish escape with a W. Let's send you down to Catherine Tappan.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Coach, 27 unanswered points scored against you in the second half. How did you find a way to pull through this one?
Well, we knew that there was going to be adversity, and we haven't been able to respond. And I told them on Friday at this stadium, I said, it's going to happen again, and we're going to respond. And I'm so proud of our kids with all the adversity that they responded, and they got through it. I knew we would get through it. Tonight was the night that they got through it. They're going to win a lot of games for a long time.
What was the key in the final 2 scoring drives in this game?
Well, it was when we muffed the punt here, and they did not lose their composure. They battled back, came back with 10 unanswered points at the end, and that was the maturity. Those were the scars of 5 losses by 1 possession. Came back here and won a football game.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dan.
That kind of sums it up. It has been a long time in coming as we listen to an alma mater, and for the first time in a while, it is a winning feeling in that corner of the end zone in front of the Notre Dame students. Notre Dame fans, Notre Dame Nation, all the Subway alums across the world have waited a long time for this one. A home victory for the Irish for the first time since September 10th. Notre Dame's first home game of the season. Defense played a big part of it as we send you down to Catherine.
Yes, Dan, and a big part of that defense was Jerron Jones. Jerron, what did you notice from the offense in this game that allowed you to create so many negative plays?
Oh, what was that? I can't hear you.
What did you notice from the offense in Miami that allowed you to create so many negative plays on defense?
I just had to get penetration. Do my job to the best of my ability, and just make plays.
How would you describe what this game was like to play in? It went back and forth so many times, and it came right down to the final minute.
It was awesome to be a part of. You know, that's what a rivalry is. Notre Dame versus Miami. So, you know, we had to fight to the very end. So it was awesome that I was able to pull out the win.
Jerron, your coach told us this week that this team was so close to breaking through and getting a big win. What does this victory do for your program?
It lifts us up. It lifts us up in a big way. You know, we got to win out to go to a bowl game. So, you know, we got to keep pushing, keep it moving.
Thanks so much, Jerron.
Thank you.
Dan.
Thank you, Catherine. Huge game for the Notre Dame defense. 5 sacks, 1 you saw there from Jerron. 12 tackles for losses. He had half, Doug, of the tackles for losses for the Irish defense. So smiles on the faces of Notre Dame, and I'm sure it is a relieved and happy Deshaun Kaiser, Catherine, who you're with right now.
Indeed, Dan. Deshaun Kaiser joining me now. And Deshaun, how much of a relief was this game for you?
It's like this whole stadium's off my shoulders. I'm actually a nice guy, you know, prior to contrary belief. You know, the last couple games in the stadium haven't went the way we wanted them to, but to come out and get this done the way we did today was awesome. Obviously, there's a little bit of a lull there for the offense in the second half, but this defense, you know, stepped it up. A couple miracle, you know, fumbles that we recover, and it's another win.
Yeah, what can you say about the way the defense played in this game, helping you guys out on the offensive side of the ball?
It's awesome. This is the team we know we are. You know, and the way we played in the first half with the offense, throwing the ball all over the place, you know, handing the ball off and getting the big runs that we did, and then having the defense compliment us the way it did in the first half is exactly who we are and who we wanted to be this whole season. And, you know, if we can get that to continue throughout a whole game, we won't ever be in this close game. You know, too many games are getting down to the last touchdown, so we'll make sure that we, you know, pick that up and continue to compliment each other.
Speaking of picking that up, how did you manage to get that ball on the fumble?
I actually turned away to cheer to the crowd as I thought we had a touchdown. After he called that play in the huddle, I just knew it was. And as I turned, I just saw the ball flying over. Went through 3 Miami guys' hands, and I just held on for dear life.
All right, Deshaun, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Catherine.
Dan.
Thanks, Catherine. Doug, in our conversation with Deshaun yesterday, he told us that never in his entire athletic career, and again, this goes back to Little League, middle school, has he ever had a losing season. You could see it weighing on him this whole season, so this was a huge win for Deshaun Kaiser in the Notre Dame football program.
It's a step in the right direction, and at least they still have a little margin of error to go 6-6 for bowl. But for Deshaun, it has to feel like the weight of the world off his shoulders. And to respond down there on the goal line, you were anticipating a touchdown, see the ball on the ground, get your nose in there as a quarterback. A lot of quarterbacks would stand back and watch. He got right in there, got into the mix, came out with the ball that saved the game for Notre Dame, at least in regulation saved the game. You know, a fantastic effort. I think it was the running game that came around late, and Josh Adams, that took some of the pressure off Deshaun Kaiser's shoulders.
And there's an example of those rushing yards, 148-18 as Kaya had to go to the air to get this team back. And it was a great effort by Miami with 27 unanswered points to get back in it. Kelly alluded to the fact of his speech after practice on Friday with Catherine. We were there, and we heard him talk about it. He said, you guys are going to face adversity on Saturday against Miami. How are you going to deal with it? Because this time it needs to be different. This time it was different.
The most important play in that aspect was after losing the lead, the first play of the drive, Kaiser hits Stefferson down the sideline for a big play. They'd initiated that drive that ends up with Josh Adams running the ball in the end zone. But it was a positive gain because it's so hard to regain confidence sometimes, and that does it for your offense, a big chunk. And they were off and running. Josh Adams gets the end zone, tie ball game, and then down the wire, whatever happens.
Kelly also told Catherine, he said, these guys are going to win a lot of games. It's almost as if to say this is just the beginning of it. He's been telling us all year, and he's been telling everybody out there, the Notre Dame faithful, that once these guys, and again, the young guys, a lot of freshmen playing on defense, but once this group wins, they're going to figure it out here, and you're going to see a lot of wins. Do you believe this team is set up for a good finale here down the season and into 2017?
I believe so. I mean, they've been in every game. It's one break one way or the other. Defense has come around. Offense was there early, is sort of finding that spark now again. If they can continue, it's consistency. Special teams killed them tonight. That's what needs to be cleaned up.
And a big deal is that bowl-eligible 6-win plateau. Notre Dame gets a little closer to that, but they still have some work to make sure they get that extra month of practices, which is so important for a young team to develop. So for Brian Kelly's full press conference, you can go to NBCSports.com. And then a reminder, tonight at 8/7 Central on NBC, it's Dateline Saturday Night Mystery. And then in a couple of weeks, it's the Shamrock Series. The Fighting Irish take on the Army Black Knights at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. But right now, stay with us on NBCSN for the Notre Dame postgame show. For our entire crew, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan, I'm Dan Hicks, thanking you for watching Notre Dame football, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Notre Dame gets it done, 30-27 over Miami.